What is up, everybody? Happy Sunday. Peace be unto you. Yeah, I mean, it's the day of rest, so why not get a little crazy while you're resting?
That's right.
And we got to talk about our guest this week, the one and only Reed Miller. This guy is freaking awesome. From Joe Bell, if you guys have not gone out to the theaters and seen it yet, please do so. This guy deserves an Oscar nomination.
Absolutely, man. And we've said it all week long, but this is a can't-miss interview that's going to make you laugh. It's going to make you cry. You're going to get deep into some social issues, and then we're going to wheel it up, and he's going to give us, how much he loves being in Mark Wahlberg's pecs.
Yes, it's so great.
It's so good.
Great. I mean, they might be comfy. That's what he said. They might be a little comfy. But yes, guys, super excited for you to hear that interview, but that's later on the show. Now, let's get a little crazy. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Crazy Ant Farm. It is episode 169. I was just thinking about how insane it is that we're almost to guest 150.
Yes! I mean, we're rapidly closing in on show 200, guest 150. It's insane to me. 4 years. We're almost 4 years into this thing, guys. And yeah, it just keeps getting more and more fun.
It does. I mean, there's surprises around each corner we take, so, I mean, it's fun, it's crazy. You guys know it's in the name, and if it's going down in Hollywood, we are talking about
it.
And you guys know your host with the most, myself, J-Lo Fantastic, and the one and only Mouth.
What's up?
4 years strong, living good, living great. Oh, man, but the industry news is super freaking packed, guys. I mean, of course, we're talking about Disney, the Mouse House, the reign of all terror, and we're talking about Bugs, we're talking about Warner Brothers, we're talking about the latest films that just came out, Suicide Squad. Boy, oh boy, this might be my favorite DCEU film.
It's definitely near the top of my list as well, and yet it keeps getting hammered for some reason because it underperformed at the box office.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll discuss that, but it's fucking epic.
It is epic.
It is.
Oh, man. But before we get this thing started, be sure to head over to our website, www.crazyantmedia.com, where you can start rocking the latest and greatest Crazy Ant Media gear. Actually, today is the last day of a sale, so be sure to head over there right now and check it out. Get what you can, because while supplies last, things fly right off them shelves, man. It's crazy how fast they go. But let's talk about it. Let's get into Disney, the one and only. Man, oh man, it's great. Walt Disney Animation Studios is opening a new production facility in Vancouver, which is very interesting. British Columbia, obviously, as it ramps up its streaming offerings. Animation is huge right now, focusing on long-form series like the upcoming musical revisiting of Moana, which was super successful at the box office and after that.
It was.
The studio will recruit new talent for its feature-quality slate of special projects meant exclusively for Disney+. Back in Burbank, though, the flagship animation studio will expand its over 900 employees and remain the exclusive home for the film project, as well as the shorter form series such as the recently announced Baymax and Zootopia Plus. Stories are in development, storyboarding, production, design, and all the projects will be based in Burbank for now.
I'm just wondering how much that expansion is going to go, or if they're going to have to cut back on that after they lose that lawsuit.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
They're going to have to pay Scarlett a lot of money, that's all I'm saying. Marvel producer, speaking of Marvel, Brad Winderbaum has confirmed that Haley Atwell, you know her, you love her, as Captain Carter's character, who's been at the center, as you guys know, of most of Marvel's marketing efforts for What If, which is right around the corner, y'all, I'm so excited, will not only be highlighted in Season 1 of the series, but get this, y'all, she'll be a major presence moving forward, and he confirmed that Atwell will return not only for the show's second season, but also any subsequent seasons after that. They basically said she's going to be the lead in every season of What If and every storyline.
Wow.
That's awesome.
That is super awesome. I was not expecting that. And I mean, Carter, who everybody knows and loves from the Captain America movies, was not touched on a lot. So I'm excited that, I mean, her character is going to get more spotlight as it deserves.
Absolutely.
Oh, man. This next one I'm super excited about, and I'm not surprised at all because it was super huge. Clone Wars Season 7 was huge for Disney Plus, and no surprise that a second season of the animation Star Wars series, The Bad Batch, is coming to Disney Plus in 2022. The renewal announcement came as part of the 2-part finale of Season 1 of the show, which debuted on Disney Plus this past Thursday. So be sure to go check it out. Catch up now. The 16-episode first season, which premiered on May the 4th, obviously, of 2021, a.k.a. Star Wars Day, and it's just killing it right now.
Yeah, man.
So, I mean, check it out.
Always a good day to debut those things.
Exactly.
That wasn't the only Star Wars news, though, that Disney had. Disney also announced that a Halloween-themed Lego Star Wars special is apparently coming to Disney Plus, called Lego Star Wars Terrifying Tales. Now, this is going to be interesting. It's going to feature a talented voice cast that includes Jake Green as Poe, Rafael Alejandro as Dean, Dana Snyder as Graballa the Hutt. That's right, Graballa the Hutt. Tony Hale as Vinay, Christian Slater as Ren, Trevor Duvall as Emperor Palpatine, Mary Elizabeth McGlynn as NIL-8, and Matt Sloan as Darth Vader. Oh, now, why did I say it sounds interesting? Because listen to this log line for it, guys. After the events of The Rise of Skywalker, Poe and BB-8 must make an emergency landing on the volcanic planet of Mustafar, where they meet the greedy and conniving Graballa the Hutt, who has purchased Darth Vader's castle and is renovating it into the galaxy's first all-inclusive Sith-inspired luxury hotel. Now, while waiting for his X-Wing to be repaired, Poe, BB-8, Graballa, and Dean, a plucky, courageous young boy who works with Graballa's mechanic, apparently venture deep into the mysterious castle with Vader's loyal servant, Vinay. Along the way, Vinay shares 3 creepy stories linked to ancient artifacts and iconic villains from across all the eras of Star Wars. As Vinay spins his tales and lures our heroes deeper into the shadowy underbelly of the castle, a sinister plan emerges. With the help of Dean, Poe and BB-8 will have to face their fears, stop an ancient evil from rising, and escape back to their friends.
I love it. I love it. Those Lego ones are like super successful.
Yeah, and they're funny. I love how they integrate humor into the Lego ones.
Exactly. Much needed in such this dark time.
Oh yeah.
Something else that is much needed: The Mighty Ducks Game Changers is coming back for season 2
Once
on
a duck,
Disney
always
Plus.
a duck.
Yes, we're super excited about it because the first season just blew us away. Production for season 2 is slated to begin early 2022 with Steve Brill, Kathy Yusaba, and Josh Goldsmith all set to return as showrunners and executive producers. So same family coming back to the same show.
Yes, and fingers crossed for season 2 that Joshua Jackson makes an appearance. It was a scheduling conflict with Dr. Death, so maybe. Disney also announced that the upcoming series Doogie Kamala MD, a reboot, as you guys know, of the popular Doogie Howser MD, is going to debut on Disney Plus on September 8th, with new installments dropping every Wednesday. The first season will have 10 episodes.
Nice. I mean, I know a lot of people are interested to see how that one's going to turn out. Oh, now, American Idol. American Idol just sneezes the freaking money away because literally Katy Perry, Lionel Richie, and Luke Bryant, and host and executive producer Ryan Seacrest have all inked new deals and to remain with American Idol in 2022, which will mark the show's 20th season overall. First 15, you guys know, were at Fox. Their returns are locked in as Idol is set to open virtual auditions to would-be contestants across the country August 6th.
Yeah.
So 2 days ago.
Yeah, already started, man. That's freaking awesome.
Right?
Okay.
I wonder how much they got paid. I bet
I don't know. But, you know, I just remember how nobody thought that it would even last after one season on ABC. And here we are 5 years later. So it's just, I don't know, man.
Kudos.
Yeah. Okay, so now back in March, you guys remember we talked about this. Amid escalating controversy surrounding former host Chris Harrison, ABC committed to hiring an executive producer of color for The Bachelor. Well, Did we see any movement? Did it happen? Apparently, yes. They followed through on that commitment and have announced that the franchise has named its first ever black executive producer, Jodie Bakersfield.
Nice.
She's a veteran producer who's been with the Bachelor franchise for almost 10 years now and has been elevated to executive producer. Bakersfield's going to begin her role as executive producer on season 18 of The Bachelorette, which recently began production and premieres this fall.
Fantastic.
Nice.
I mean, person of color and a woman. Love it.
I mean, that's what we're talking about.
Love to see it. Taisha Adams and Caitlin Bistow have closed deals to serve as co-hosts for the upcoming 18th season of The Bachelorette. I mean, the former stars of The Bachelorette initially stepped in as co-hosts back in the season of 17. After a long-time host, Chris Harrison stepped aside from his hosting duties, being a jackass.
Yep.
Since then, he has fully departed from the franchise, and season 18 will star Michelle Young, fan favorite contestant from Matt James' season of The Bachelor, and which aired back in early 2021. So, I mean, this one has a huge cult following for some reason, so it's continuing to do big numbers.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Keep going. Just keep going. I mean, as long as
kudos.
you ride that baby till it's dead, right?
Kudos.
Oh, my gosh. If you follow us, we tout Danny Strong, our buddy Danny Strong's genius all the time. The man is just epic at what he does. And if you guys saw, Hulu unveiled the first trailer of his upcoming series, Dope Sick, and a release date, okay? The 8-episode limited series gave viewers an ambitious, harrowing, and compelling look into the epicenter of America's struggle with opioid addiction. It stars, as you guys know, we've told you, Michael Keaton, Ray McKinnon, Rosario Dawson, Peter Skarsgård, and every other A-lister in Hollywood.
Literally.
It's going to premiere on October 13th. Guys, watch this trailer. Keaton and Caitlin Dever, holy shit.
Yeah.
The man is brilliant.
He is.
And these, it's going to be huge.
I can't wait, man. I absolutely can't. This is such an important thing that's happening right now in today's society, so everybody needs to be watching this
And just a program note, Danny's going to come back and talk to us about it.
Yes! Stay tuned.
It's going to be fun.
Stay tuned. Hulu and the producers behind The Handmaid's Tale, which is kicking ass right now, are starting to hold discussions about the future of the show.
Yeah.
As it prepares to return to production for season 5. Over the next few months, the decision will be made whether this will be the show's fifth and final season. So, I mean, everybody's talking about it. It's all over our Twitter feeds. It's all over Instagram. So I'm very curious to see why are you going to let the big one go. So
yeah, well, rumors are it's because they're focusing on all the new series and Handmaid's getting expensive after the 5 years.
That makes sense. Yeah.
You got to keep paying them people. So
yeah.
I don't know. That makes sense. Hey, Aubrey Plaza, love Aubrey Plaza, and Ramon Rodriguez are set to star in the Hulu drama pilot, one of the new ones we're just talking about, Olga Dies Dreaming. It tells the story of a brother and sister from Sunset Park, Brooklyn, reckoning with an absent, politically radical mother and their glittering careers among New York City's elite in the wake of Hurricane Maria. Now, Plaza will star in the title role as Olga, a renowned wedding planner whose surface successes masks a dark interior. Rodriguez's character, named Prieto, he's Olga's brother and a popular congressman who is described as wearing his Puerto Rican pride like a badge of honor.
That's right.
Yeah, so, I mean, getting more diversity, Disney's kicking ass with the diversity. That's all I'm saying.
They really are. Hulu has also handed out a series ordered to drama Tell Me Lies, the first project to stem from the First Look TV deal from Emma Roberts, inked with the company back in September. Additionally, Grace Van Patten has been tapped to star in the series. Tell Me Lies follows a relationship as it unfolds over the course of 8 years when Lucy Albright, who's played by Van Patten, and Stephen DeMarco met at college. They are at a formative age when seemingly mundane choices lead the way to very intense consequences. Although their relationships begins any typical campus romance, they quickly fall into an addictive entanglement that will permanently alter not only their lives, but the lives of everyone else around them.
Oh.
Very intense, man. Very intense. Don't make bad decisions.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Now, they got some movies that they do over there at the Mouse House, too.
It's true.
Dylan O'Brien has joined the cast of the upcoming Searchlight feature satire, Not Okay. O'Brien joins previously announced leading lady Zoe Deutsch in the project from DeWriter. That's writer-director. Need more coffee. Quinn Shepard, which will premiere exclusively on Hulu. Not Okay follows a misguided young woman desperate for friends and fame who fakes up a trip to Paris on her social media presence. When a terrifying incident takes place in the real world and becomes part of her imaginary trip, her white lie becomes a moral quandary that offers her all of the attention that she wanted. Uh-oh. See, that's why you can't live that bullshit on social media.
Yeah, right.
You get you in trouble.
Exactly. The only way this series or movie, I should say, is going to be great is, one, is Annie going to be okay, and is there a smooth criminal in this fucking thing?
Damn right.
So,
see?
I mean, you know.
And reach out to Stevie Nicks for Tell Me More Lies. You know,
exactly.
you gotta do the marketing on this shit.
1, 2, 3, killed it. Peabody and Golden Globe winner Penny, best known as showrunner of HBO's Insecure, where he also serves as an executive producer and frequent director, has signed an 8-figure multi-year deal with Disney General Entertainment's Onyx Collective. Now, under this new deal, Penny will produce, write, and direct any new projects going through a Penny for Your Thoughts Entertainment banner, epic banner, across all Disney platforms, including Hulu, which is the primary home for Onyx Collective titles. So, you know, I mean, especially if you got darker content, it's going to Hulu.
Absolutely. And good, more diversity. Yeah, as you guys know, that Onyx Collective is focusing on putting more people of color into these projects, both behind and in front of the camera. So good for them.
Beautiful.
Speaking of finally getting your due, we're jumping to Fox now. After lengthy negotiations for some, all series regular on Fox's flagship drama 911 have apparently secured pay increases ahead of season 5. Now, series star and producer, we don't always say that, but and producer, Angela Bassett led the way with a major bump that we hear takes her north of $450,000 an episode.
Damn.
That is believed to be among the top salaries on network television for any actor, male or female, and quite possibly could be the highest ever for an actress of color on any broadcast drama series. 911's male lead, Peter Krause, you know him, you love him, Sports Night, Parenthood, what a guy. After a 25% raise, commands the second biggest check on the show, believed to be in the low 300,000s range. He is followed by Jennifer Love Hewitt, who joined the series in season 2. She succeeded, as you guys know, Connie Britton, because she was busy in Joe Bell.
Yeah, right.
Who starred top billing with Bassett and Krause in season 1. The rest of the cast, including original cast members who joined in season 2, are believed to all be getting a 25% raise to about $80,000 an episode next season, and are projected to go up to $100,000 an episode in season 6.
Show me the money.
I mean, when you bank money from a show, you should give in return. That's all I'm saying.
Exactly. Doing it right. Now, Gordon Ramsay, this fucker, has signed a new huge overall deal at Fox Entertainment. The chef, restaurateur, and TV star, who already has a cornerstone at the network's primetime lineup, has joined forces with Fox Entertainment to form a new joint venture studio, Ramsay Global, which he is global worldwide. Fox Entertainment will co-own Studio Ramsay Global with the man himself, whose currently TV company, Studio Ramsay, will be fully acquired by the new entity. Now, Fox Entertainment secured the partnership after a highly competitive bidding process with several other companies, including Disney. The deal is said to be in the 9 figures range.
Yeah.
So this man
what
got
the fuck was that? What the fuck? You call that a story? What the fuck was that? That's
great.
Not a fucking story. You got to do a fucking story on me. Like, I love you, Gordon.
I know. It's so great.
You can't not have Gordon bitch you out. You got to do
funny.
it.
Side note, I saw a little clip of his mom, and his mom does not like Gordon's food.
No,
it's
I
so
know.
Funny.
The only time she ever likes it is when he cooks her recipes.
Yeah.
It's really funny. It's great stuff, though. All right, jumping to the bunny, because we got to do it. Cobra Kai actor Zolo Majuriana has been cast. You know him. He's the lead guy in Cobra Kai.
Yes.
Has been cast in the lead role in Blue Beetle for HBO Max and Warner Brothers. Now, Angel Manuel Soto was earlier tapped to direct DC's first film and said recently that this guy was his only choice to play Blue Beetle.
Wow.
That's who he wanted. It's going to be DC's first film to center on a Latino superhero. Gareth Donat also wrote the script. Multiple iterations, if you guys are comic book geeks, you know this. Multiple iterations of Blue Beetle have existed in the comics. With the film, it's going to focus on Jamie Reyes, an El Paso teen who uses alien armor granted by a strange artifact to defend his hometown. Reyes first debuted in the comics in 2006. I'm super excited about this. I hope that it also leads to the debut of Booster Gold, because Blue Beetle and Booster Gold always team up, and I think it's going to be badass.
Very interesting, and I'm excited to learn about new superheroes. So, you know.
Yes!
Warner Media is kicking up its investment to podcasts, because we know podcasts are huge.
That's right.
For HBO Max, announcing, among other things, that Batman The Audio Adventures will be released exclusively on HBO Max in the fall, which is interesting.
Yeah.
In partnership with Warner Brothers and DC's scripted audio, original Batman The Audio Adventures, starring Jeffrey Wright as the Cape Crusader, draws inspiration from the vintage noir atmosphere of Batman the Animated Series. Along with Wright, Batman the Animated Series also stars Rosario Dawson as Catwoman, John Leguizamo as the Riddler, and various Saturday Night Live alums. The podcast is written and directed by Dennis Nichols, and Batman Audio Adventures is the first, for now, only HBO Max podcast that will be available exclusively on the streaming platform, which is very interesting because, like, it's a streaming platform for video. So I'm curious to see how they're going to do that. Are they going to do like the Spotify thing where you can kind of watch videos while watching or on Spotify while listening to a podcast? So It's going to be interesting. I'm curious, though, because, I mean, these podcasts about superheroes are huge. We see Marvel doing it with the Wolverine character, so I'm loving it.
Well, and on last week's show, we just told you about another Batman podcast that's going to be on Spotify, right? Like, what I find really curious about that is Jeffrey Wright. So he's playing Commissioner Gordon in the upcoming live-action Batman movie with Pattinson, and then he's going to play Batman.
Yeah.
I mean, okay.
Exactly.
You go, and the Watcher in Marvel. This guy's everywhere, man. Do it, buddy. Do it. This is sad. Sources say HBO Max has passed on Overlook, the J.J. Abrams produced spin-off of The Shining. The series is now being shopped by producers Warner Brothers Television. Sources say that Netflix is among the bidders for the series, come on Netflix, and is considered the frontrunner to land the project. Overlook was one of first 3 shows Abrams and his Bad Robot banner set up at HBO Max under the production company's $250 million overall deal with the parent Warner Media, and has a commitment penalty, which means that if the series does not find a home, Bad Robot will be financially compensated a lot.
Still gonna get the money.
They're just focusing on all this superhero shit.
Exactly.
I mean, every week we announce a new superhero show on HBO Max from J.J. Abrams, so they're like, fuck The Shining, send that shit somewhere else.
Exactly. But up-and-coming creators, are you listening? This shows that doesn't matter who is attached to this thing, it can still be passed on. So make sure you have good content. The HBO film Days of Abandonment, starring Oscar winner Natalie Portman, is no longer happening.
Damn.
HBO announced this week that Portman has stepped down from the film, and production will not be moving forward. The statement read, and I quote, "Due to foreseen personal reasons, Natalie Portman has stepped down from HBO Films' Days of Abandonment prior to the start of filming. Unfortunately, the production will not move forward." HBO said in a statement, "We are very sorry we won't be able to bring this beautiful story to the screen with our talented writer and director and cast. We send our sincere thanks to the cast, the producers, the crew, for all their passion and all their hard work." I'd be pissed.
Me too.
I would be pissed, especially those producers. They've been with it since day one.
Yeah, man. That's odd. I wonder if we're ever going to find out why.
I hope so.
I don't know. Hey! I'm super excited about this one. Minka Kelly, you know her, you love her. Dove on Titan, she's so badass. Well, apparently her and Dominique Fike and Demetrius Lil Meech Flannery Jr. are joining the season 2 of Euphoria. Eyeing a premiere in late 2021 or early 2022, the hit HBO series began filming again earlier this year for its long-anticipated season 2. I'm so fucking pumped for that.
I love it. I love their 2 hit episodes that they released during COVID, too.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's going to be great.
Oh, yeah.
Julie Halstead Ralston will reprise her role as Bitsy Von Muffling in HBO Max's Sex and the City revival.
All right.
And just like that, as a recurring guest star, Bitsy is a New York socialite who married flamboyant Cabernet singer Bobby Fine in season 5 episode of the HBO original I Love Chariot. The last time she appeared was in season 6 episode The Domino Effect, when a very pregnant Bitsy advertises Charlotte, who's played by Kristen Davis, who is having issues conceiving, to try acupuncture. It is yet to be known whether Nathan Lane, who played Bitsy's beloved Bobby, will also appear in this one. We've also learned that Christopher Jackson and Leroy McClain have joined the cast as well in recurring roles. So they're trying to bring everybody back.
Yeah, man, that's awesome, man. If you don't bring Nathan Lane back, I don't see why you would bring Bitsy back if you don't bring
Nathan Lane.
You got to bring him back. Boat Rocker Studios. That's a great name. Boat Rocker Studio. Don't rock the boat. Don't rock the boat, baby. But they want to rock the boat. Okay.
Tip that bitch over.
Has put into development Pulitzer Prize winner Colson Whitehead's novel Sag Harbor as a television series at HBO Max. Daniel Kowa-Bede is attached to write the pilot. Lawrence Fishburne and Helen Sieglin Cinema Gypsy Productions is on board to executive produce. Now, set in 1985, Sag Harbor tells the story of Benji Cooper, one of the few black students at an elite prep school in Manhattan. Every summer, Benji escapes to the Hamptons, to Sag Harbor, where a small community of African-American professionals have built a world of their own.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that sounds badass.
That sounds really freaking interesting. I'm excited for that one.
Me too.
Now heading over to the I, which is Viacom CBS. President and CEO Bob Bakish sent employees a memo this week detailing the company's concerns over the Delta variant of COVID-19 and specifying that most of the workers will not return back to the office until October 18th at the earliest. Bakish specified that employees returning to Viacom CBS prior to October 18th in the yellow phase, as you will, would need to be fully vaccinated, with the exception of certain union production and essential on-site personnel. Now, Viacom CBS is also mandating that employees be masked when working indoors regardless of their vaccination status. So, this shit is getting scary again. So we need to take full precaution. So I'm happy this is happening.
Me too. It's simple. Mask up and vax.
Exactly.
It's that fucking simple.
It's
Mask
up
and vax.
It's not hard.
It's not. Okay, now Viacom CBS spending a shit ton of money, y'all. We got some huge deals that we're about to talk about. Following a year plus negotiating, Alex Kurtzman, the prolific producer who pilots the Star Trek franchise for CBS Studios and Paramount Plus, has extended his exclusive overall TV deal with the Viacom CBS units through 2026. In 2018, Kurtzman and his Secret Hideout inked a $25 million overall deal extension with CBS Studios. The new deal renegotiates the remaining 2 years on the first pact and adds 3 more years to keep Kurtzman and his Secret Hideout at the studio through 2026. Now, Kurtzman's Secret Hideout banner will expand under the new agreement to add an executive to help manage its growing status of series. Longtime Kurtzman partner Heather Caden remains the head of content for Secret Hideout, which is shepherding 5 track-branded series for CBS Studios and Paramount Plus, along with drama and limited series such as Showtime's The Comey Rule, which was freaking epic, our buddy Billy Ray.
So good.
And the upcoming The Man Who Fell to Earth. Kurtzman also guides all of the Star Trek universe's digital content, social media, podcasts, and games, as well as all the merchandising and collectibles. The company has become a reliable supplier of high-end shows for CBS, Showtime, and Paramount Plus. You think?
Right? Like, come on now.
Jesus, this guy's got like 82 Star Trek shows coming. I mean, it's that old Star Wars, Star Trek, Star Wars, Star Trek. Whatever you could do, we could do. Whatever you could do, we could do. It's an epic battle.
It really is. It really is. I just hope that it's like Game of Thrones. I hope there's not too much Star Trek.
Right.
I mean, you don't want to burn people out.
Yeah, no. I am excited about Picard Season 2.
Yeah, I am too. Now, South Park creators Trey Parker and Matt Stone have set an expansive new freaking deal at Viacom, CBS, and MTV Entertainment Studios that calls for the pair to produce 14 movies for Paramount Plus based on their enduring Comedy Central animated franchise. The pack also renews South Park as the series for Comedy Central through its 30th season. So that is in 2027.
Yeah.
That's insane. This show, if the Simpsons goes off first, it'd be insane because I feel like these two are competing because South Park has been so popular for so long.
Oh, yeah.
So these guys deserve it.
Absolutely. And 14 South Park movies?
Yeah, right?
South Park, the original movie, was one of my all-time favorite movies.
Yeah.
It's fucking brilliant. So 14 more coming. And they're spending more money. Dear White People's Justin Simeon has signed an overall deal with Paramount Television Studios. Under the deal, Simeon and his Culture Machine banner will develop premium television series for the studio for broadcast, cable, and streaming platforms.
Nice.
Congratulations, Justin.
Exactly.
No details on how much that was, but I bet it was pretty hefty.
Kept under those burritos. All right, now Saturday Night Live breakout Chloe Fineman and Goldberg's Jeff Garlin have joined the sprawling all-star cast of Babylon. It's either Dope Sick or Babylon.
That's
guys.
right, man.
The ode to Hollywood's golden age that Damien Chazelle wrote and is directing for Paramount Plus. Troy Metcalf, who also appears in The Middle, has also been added to the call sheet. Character details have not yet been revealed to this one. The production is currently shooting in and around the Los Angeles area, and Paramount is planning a platform release opening in select theaters on Christmas Day of 2022 before going worldwide January 6th of 2023.
And that is strategically for the Oscars.
Very much so.
You know that's why that's going. But hey, okay, it's well worth it, I think.
Agreed.
This one's really interesting, too. Colin Jost, a.k.a. Mr. Scarlett Johansson, and his brother Casey are co-writing a brand new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie for Paramount Pictures. Michael Bay, Andrew Form, Brad Fuller, Scott Minnick, and Galen Walker are producing the film. The movie's in early development, so details of the plot are being kept under wraps. The untitled live-action movie, however, is separate from the CGI animated Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie that Seth Rogen is producing for Paramount and Nickelodeon. So two separate ones going on.
Yeah, so apparently freaking Warner Brothers is starting a precedent with all these DC movies.
I mean,
like,
seriously.
hey, it's not in the same universe, so we're going to make so much.
I mean, hey.
I mean, you know. Now, this next one's very interesting, and I know you're excited about it.
I am super excited.
And I've always been a Tim McGraw fan. Well, Tim McGraw and his lady herself, Faith Hill, have been cast leads alongside Sam Elliott in a new Paramount Plus series, 1883, which, as we told you, is a prequel to the Yellowstone series.
Yep.
The prequel will follow the Dalton family's journey west through the Great Plains and is described as a stark retelling of the Western expansion. And it's an intense study of one of the family's fleeing poverty to seek a better future in America's promised land, Montana. Now, McGraw and Hill will play James and Margaret Dalton, the Dalton family's patriarch and matriarch, which Elliot cast as Shay Brennan, a tough cowboy with some underlying melancholy to be revealed as he guides the immigrants from Texas to Montana. The series is expected to begin filming this year. I mean, already, those three people attached, who's not going to watch this thing?
Yeah, seriously, it's going to be fucking huge. And I love this premise. So apparently Tim and Faith are going to be playing Kevin Costner's parents or grandparents? I think grandparents. So how fucking epic is that?
Right?
That's okay. All right. Believable. Hey, The Chi has been renewed for Season 5 at Showtime. News of the renewal comes just after the series. As you guys know, it aired its Season 4 finale. Now, per Showtime, the series is averaging 4.2 million viewers per episode for Season 4. So I guess it's still doing pretty well.
Yeah, The Shy. It's doing really well. I haven't watched any of it, but that's the one with it's supposed to be the Easy Eat guy.
Yeah.
Fucking, he's not on anymore.
No.
You know what happened there. But heading over to the Peacock's motherboard ship, NBC Universal's Nicholas Hoult is set to star in Universal's Reinfeld, a monster movie centering around Dracula's notorious lackey, Chris McKay, the filmmaker behind the Tomorrow War and the Lego Batman movie, is directing and producing Renfield, which serves as an origin story for Dracula's unhinged henchman. Based on an original script from Robert Kirkman, the story will be written by Ryan Ridley from Rick and Morty in Bram Stoker's 1897 horror novel Dracula's. R.M. Renfield was an inmate in an insane asylum and he was thought to be suffering from delusions that compelled him to eat live creatures in the hopes of obtaining immortality until it's later revealed that he is under the influence of the one and only Count Dracula. Now, through the plot details for the upcoming movie have not been released yet, the vampire-adjacent tale is said to take place in present day.
Ooh.
Sketchy.
Yeah.
Sketchy, man.
Okay, so that's going to be really interesting, though. And will we see Dracula pop up?
Right? Should.
I don't know. I mean, I guess we'll find out. Emmy winner Ron Cephas Jones. You guys know him. He's Sterling K's daddy on This Is Us. And British actor Vinnie Jones, Juggernaut from the X-Men movies, are set for recurring roles opposite Christopher Maloney on Season 2 of NBC's Law and Order Organized Crime.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm pumped about that. Cephas Jones will play Congressman Leon Kilbride, a born politician who fosters connections and always plays his cards right. Jones will portray Albi Briscu, an Eastern European gangster who is the last remaining member of the organization from the old country. Of course he's going to play a gangster.
I believe it, yeah.
Vinnie Jones has never played a good guy, I don't think. I mean, he's a bad guy in everything I've ever seen him in. So
that's so freaking funny. I'm excited about that, though.
Me too.
Two phenomenal actors, so that's going to be badass.
Oh, yeah.
Matthew Willig, who recurred as Andre the Giant in the first season of The Young Rock, has been promoted to a series regular for Season 2, which makes sense. Matthew, former NFL star and Super Bowl winner with the 1999 St. Louis Rams, turned to acting when an injury ended his football career. A lot of them seem to do that. So,
Right?
I mean, it's very exciting that he was able to take a different path. So,
Absolutely,
very necessary.
Man. And I'm excited to see the second season of the show.
Right.
This one shocked me, but here it is. Chris Collins has stepped down as showrunner and executive producer of Bel-Air, Peacock's drama reboot of the 1990s Will Smith sitcom The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And T.J. Brady and Rashid Newson, whose credits include The Chi and The 100, will take over as co-showrunners, apparently. Now, Collins, who departed actually back in December, was replaced earlier this year by Diane Houston from Empire. Well, she's apparently also departed the series.
Damn.
The hour-long series, based on Morgan Cooper's popular fan film that re-envisions the original series, hails from Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith's Westbrook Studios and Universal Television. It received a 2-season order back in September of 2020. So, but, I mean, okay.
I'm expecting, behind the scenes turmoil. What's going on?
I don't know.
I
I did see creative differences.
Yeah.
So
a lot of people are excited about this.
I know.
one. So, I mean, I bet the bar is set pretty high. Makes kind of sense.
It
Makes
does.
kind of sense. Sony, given the uncertainty surrounding the Delta variant and abide by the changing local guidance, Sony Pictures Entertainment employees received a note this week from the studio chairman, Tony Veccarera, that they will be turning to work delayed approximately early to mid-October, just like the other one.
Viacom CBS, yeah.
Yep. The Culver City lot will alert employees at least 30 days prior to the new date being set. The studio is continually monitoring the current modeling and data before they set a new date. Originally, Sony's plan was to have employees return starting the week of September 7th. This sucks. I mean,
Yeah.
hopefully they're still getting compensated, but you never know, man. I mean, especially with all this stuff going on and them not making any money, so it's sad.
It is. It's rough,
really
man.
sad.
And who knows? Delta variant and God knows how many other variants. I mean, this might last a while.
Yeah.
And you know what that sounds like? Carnage. Carnage is coming. Holy shit. Did you guys see this?
So
Sony
good.
released a new trailer for Venom, Let There Be Carnage. And in it, chaos reigns. No shit. The film once again stars Tom Hardy as Eddie Brock. You guys know, a journalist who has an alien symbiote living within him, a.k.a. Venom. Together, they are Venom. This time around, Woody Harrelson also stars as serial killer Cletus Cassidy. The new movie will see Harrelson's Cassidy transform into Carnage, a villain known as Venom's chief antagonist in the comics. The upcoming sequel hits theaters on September 24th, and holy shit.
I'm so excited.
This trailer was fucking epic. It's going to be so damn good.
Woody is the perfect person to play fucking Carnage.
Oh my
like, this
God.
guy like just completely embodied the character. Such a fucking great actor.
And the special effect, Carnage looks fucking badass, y'all. He looks so good. And the comedy, the back and forth between Venom and Eddie again is fucking hilarious.
He's a red one.
Yeah, I'm going to let him kill everybody. It's like, what? No. It's so good, man.
It's so great. Be sure to watch the trailer after this.
Oh
man.
my gosh. Not good.
Yeah.
Not happy about this at all.
No.
Jeopardy executive producer Mike Richards is in advanced negotiations with Sony Pictures Television to become the permanent host of Jeopardy. What? Now, after Trebek's death, you guys know Sony initiated a series of guest hosts, some of whom were hoping to land the permanent slot, like LeVar Burton, who should be getting the goddamn job. Richards, who joined the show just last year as executive producer, impressed Sony Pictures brass with his command of the fast-paced game and easy on-air manner. A Sony Pictures spokesman said discussions were ongoing with several potential candidates. He would not comment specifically if Richard's status was as the frontrunner or not. But here's the interesting twist, guys. Does that name sound familiar? Yeah, because he was involved in the lawsuit with Bob Barker on The Price is Right when all those models were suing them for harassment and shit like that. So, is this the guy you want?
I think Jeopardy should just end it. I'm just saying, I mean, for Alex Trebek's fucking legacy, I don't think it's going to do the same numbers, so...
I don't think so either, and if you are going to keep it, give it to LeVar Burton. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, man. It's going to be interesting. Heading over to MGM, MGM TV has optioned Wednesday Martin's best-selling memoir, Primates of Park Avenue, to develop as a television series, with Emmy-nominated Yalan Chang from The Handmaid's Tale set to pen the series adaptation. Former MGM film boss Jonathan Glickman will executive produce via his Glickmania Productions alongside Martin. So very interesting. They're trying to keep that one alive, keep the lion roaring.
Yeah.
So, you know.
When the Lion Roars. Great documentary, by the way, with Patrick Stewart. If you've never seen it, it's awesome. Jumping to Lionsgate, and this one has us so excited. As you guys know, me and JLo are huge Zoe's Playlist fans. We've had multiple of them on as guests. Go listen to those interviews. Outstanding. Well, apparently, Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist, after getting axed by NBC, you guys know, you remember, we all cried, it might be getting a second life after all. Roku, that's right, which has been bulking up its original programming slate, is in discussions with Lionsgate Television, which is the producer of the musical dramedy, for a movie special bringing back the original cast, including star Jane Levy. The project under discussion would be a 2-hour movie special set during the holidays that would hit the Roku channel around the 2021 holidays. While other reports have said that Roku would have the option to pick up Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist for a new season, we're hearing with the talks that it's not on the table and that the movie would be a one-off shot to wrap things up and close it down. I'm hoping that the other rumors are true and that if it does well, it'll give it another season.
That would be amazing, but at least they would have that opportunity to end it.
Yeah, exactly, because it left, as you guys know, it ended on a cliffhanger, so we need to know.
Exactly. Newcomer Kelly Gale and Mike Coulter have signed on to star in The Plane alongside Gerard Butler. Lionsgate's action thriller centers on Ray Torrance, who's going to be played by Butler, a commercial pilot who has just heroically landed a storm-damaged aircraft in a hostile territory, finding himself threatened by militant pirates who are planning to take the plane and its passengers hostage. As the world's authorities and media search for the disappeared aircraft, Torrance must rise to the occasion and keep his passengers safe long enough to help to arrive. Ex-military man being extradited to Canada on charges of homicide when the plane crashes. There's no word yet on which character Kelly will play at this moment. But I'm just saying, Gerard Butler is falling into that Liam Neeson film.
Yeah, where it's all the same.
Playing the same character.
Yeah.
He's a better actor than that.
He is a better actor than that. He's great in comedy. What was that one with Katherine Heigl? That was fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Do some other shit. But he does have Power Man next to him, though, so they're going to kick some ass, okay?
Yeah,
Mike Coulter, man. Oh, I know everybody's super excited about this one. Little Cam especially, the old kiddo Emily there. Lionsgate's Hunger Games prequel film, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, is aiming to start production in the first half of 2022. The prequel movie will focus on Coriolanus Snow at the age of 18. That's obviously the President Snow, you guys know. Years before he became the tyrannical president of Panem. Young Coriolanus is handsome and charming, and though the Snow family has fallen on hard times, he sees a chance for change in his fortunes when he is chosen to be the mentor for the 10th Hunger Games, only to have his elation dashed when he is assigned to mentor the girl tribute from impoverished District 12. We all know District 12. Hunger Games, which yielded nearly $3 billion in global box office across the 4 previous films, is likely best positioned as a theatrical release. We'll see.
Yeah, we shall see, but I mean, I could definitely see it because they're really pushing for that one.
Oh, yeah.
Lionsgate is set to release The Fight Before Christmas, a holiday comedy featuring my best friend's wedding star, Dermot Mulroney,
Mulroney,
that guy, and the Goldbergs actor Haley Ortina, described as a mischievous tale, follows a 29-year-old Emma, who is played by Haley, whose 54-year-old father, who is played by the one and only Dermot, begins dating her high school frenemy. Soon after his wife passes away, Emma embarks on a mission to break up the happy couple after her dad insists they spend the holidays together.
So he's 54 and he's dating her 29-year-old high school friend?
That's what it sounds like. Yeah.
That one's going to cause some controversy.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Hey, we are super excited about this one. If anyone deserved it, it's this beautiful woman. She is like killing it. As you guys know, you saw in our post, she inspires us every day. She just goes out there and get it. I'm, of course, talking about Reese Witherspoon and her media company, Hello Sunshine, which has been sold to a firm backed by private equity giant Blackstone Group. Terms are not disclosed, but we're all hearing that the purchase price was between $900 million and $1 billion. Now, the new media venture Blackstone is backing will be run, get this, guys, by former Walt Disney Company executives Kevin Mayer and Tom Staggs, who were both overlooked as CEO to replace Bob Iger.
Yeah. Both of them.
Yeah, whoops, just saying, with Hello Sunshine and its first acquisition. Now, Witherspoon and Hello Sunshine CEO Sarah Hardin will join the board of the new as-of-yet unnamed company and will continue to operate Hello Sunshine. Witherspoon and some other Hello Sunshine executives and investors will apparently roll over their equity and ownership stakes in the newly formed company as well, so...
That's awesome.
Yeah, I just love this story.
I do too. I mean, she deserves it, man. They've been killing it. Now, Netflix, they have revealed a new promo for Cobra Kai and also revealed that the series will be returning this December.
Yeah!
But there is no official premiere date yet, but the 5 possible Fridays in December, one of them being Christmas Eve, the others being New Year's Eve, there's really only 2 different places the series could land. Most likely, December 3rd and or December 10th. Friday, December 17th, The Witcher 2 is going to arrive. And we know that, I mean, The Witcher is basically Netflix's big money ticket. Yeah. So, I mean, it's definitely going to be December 3rd or December 10th. So, stay tuned.
I'm going 3rd because you don't want to put it too close to The Witcher either. So
I agree.
That's
my
guess.
3rd. I think 3rd.
Yep. Let's just go with that. Mark that down, guys. We'll see if we're right. I don't know. Hey, that other big show on Netflix, you guys know, you love it. 11, Stranger Things unveiled a few new glimpses also in a trailer and showed us what's in store for season 4 yesterday. Friday, not yesterday. Today, Sunday. I'm losing all track of days right now. With the news that the new season is due next year. No date again announced, but now we know at least it's coming next year, 2022. So
This is why Netflix pisses me off. It'll be 3 years.
Well, and remember that's about their standard, because The Crown took fucking 3 years to come out with a set. That's so crazy.
Annoying, man. Netflix has secured the world rights to territories including the U.S. on Maggie Gyllenhaal's directorial debut, The Lost Daughters, starring Olivia Colman, Jesse Buckley, Dakota Johnson, Peter Skarsgård, and Paul Mescal. Now, the drama is set to world premiere in a competition at the Venice Film Festival next month. The deal was negotiated by Endeavor Content, including most major markets. Oscar nominee Gyllenhaal also produced the project and adapted the script that's based on the infamous 2006 novel Elena Ferrante. Now, the story follows a woman whose beach vacation takes a dark turn when she begins to confront the troubles of her past. I bet somebody shows up and fucks up some things.
Oh, yeah, on the beach. You never want to fuck up things on the beach, but it always happens.
Exactly.
All kidding aside, she's like, the Gyllenhaals are like freaking epic.
They are.
They're so fucking talented, and Maggie's a great filmmaker, so that's going to be awesome.
Agreed.
Hey, whether you loved him as Doogie or you loved him as Barney, it was legend, wait for it, dairy news that we found out this week that Neil Patrick Harris has been tapped as the lead in Uncoupled. That's right, guys. He's returning to TV. Netflix's new comedy series, created and executive produced by Darren Star. Uncoupled centers on Michael, who's going to be Neil Patrick Harris, who thought his life was perfect until his husband blindsides him by walking out the door after 17 years.
Oh, shit.
Overnight, Michael has to confront 2 nightmares: losing what he thought was his soulmate and suddenly finding himself a single gay man in his mid-40s in New York City. Damn.
Right?
Yeah, man. But if ever there was somebody to overcome it, Neil Patrick Harris.
Always.
The guy.
Always.
Filming is slated to begin, get this, in New York City. Wow, you're going to film it and it takes place there. That's awesome. Later this year. So I'm pumped, though.
I'm too.
I'm just super excited to have him back on TV.
He's a great talent, and I mean, he deserves more content.
Yes.
So I'm super pumped to see that. Ashton Kutcher will star opposite of Reese Witherspoon in a romantic comedy, Your Place or Mine. In the film, 2 best friends who live on opposite coasts swap homes for a week and see their whole lives change.
What?
Yeah, right?
Oh, my God. Okay.
That's
going
gonna
to
be funny.
Yeah, I mean, Ashton Kutcher and Reese, they're going to play off each other so well.
Agreed.
Hey, Kerry Washington, all right, she's returning as well. Kerry Washington is gearing up for a new adventure set to star in and produce Rockaway for Netflix. In the movie, Washington plays a Manhattan-based journalist who unexpectedly discovers the transcendent power of surfing while on a routine assignment and finds herself running from the comfortable life she's always known towards a life of romance and self-discovery in eclectic Rockaway Beach. I don't want to be surfing in anywhere where it's called rocks.
No.
Just
saying. Might be a little dangerous.
It's not a good combo. I'm just saying.
Not at all. Not at all. Well, Nia Long has joined the cast of Netflix's upcoming romantic comedy, Plus Minus. Long will appear alongside Riverdale star Lily Reinhart and Luke Wilson. Plus Minus centers on Natalie, who is played by Reinhart, whose life diverges into 2 parallel realities on the eve of her college graduation. One version sees her become pregnant and navigate motherhood as a young adult in Texas, her Texas hometown, and the other journey takes place as she moves to Los Angeles to pursue her career. The contrary paths lead the 20-something Natalie experience life-changing love, devastating heartbreak, and rediscovering herself. I think this is going to be very freaking entertaining because people always wonder, what if?
What if? Yeah. Exactly. And Nia Long, I love her, man.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah. This one, hey, we found out, which is going to be pretty cool. Luis Guzman, great character actor. You've seen him in all kinds of stuff. He's apparently set to play Gomez Addams in Wednesday, the series coming at Netflix. Guzman will appear in a guest starring role as Gomez, the patriarch of the Addams family, because as you guys know, this is focused on a grown-up Wednesday Addams. So
yes.
Makes sense it's only going to be a recurring role, but that's awesome.
Exactly. And Isaac Gonzalez is in negotiations to join the cast of the Netflix sci-fi series Three-Body Problem with Game of Thrones co-creators David Benioff and D.B. Weiss, adapting the series based on the famous sci-fi book series. The series is the first major series from the duo since the end of the one and only Game of Thrones.
Ooh.
So, I mean, they inked that overall deal with Netflix, so you guys know they're making some fucking shit. So, we'll see.
We'll see. Speaking of a lot of money, that's all I'm going to say, a lot of money. The Lord of the Rings series at Amazon officially has a premiere date, apparently. The highly anticipated epic fantasy series will debut on the streamer on September 2nd of next year, with new episodes dropping weekly after that. Now, filming was completed on the first season of the show on August 2nd in New Zealand. Amazon also has released the first official image from the series, and if you guys check it out, it looked pretty epic, but I don't know if it's worth $1 gazillion.
Right, I mean, I'm expected to be blown away by the amount of money that they freaking spent. I mean, the amount of money they spent blew me away itself, so we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. Paper Girls developer and executive producer Stephanie Folsom has stepped down as the showrunner, or the co-showrunner of the Amazon series. Folsom will have no active participation in the series going forward, with co-showrunner Christopher C. Rogers becoming a solo showrunner. He will be. Paper Girls follows 4 young girls while out delivering papers on the morning after Halloween in 1988. Become unwittingly caught in a conflict between warring factions of time travelers, sending them on an adventure through time that will save the world. Now, the cast includes Sophia Rosinski, Cameron Jones, Riley Lee Nellet, and Finna Starza, and Ali Yong. So very freaking interesting.
A lot of time travel stuff lately, right? Like, Legends of Tomorrow started that shit. I'm just saying, and now it's like all over the place.
Exactly.
Hey, jump into Apple. Are you ready to let's get physical? Okay, well, if you're not, too bad, because it's coming back. Physical's been renewed for Season 2 at Apple. The Season 1 finale of the dark comedy dropped Friday, and Physical is currently, get this, has a 67% rating among critics and a more favorable 86% rating among viewers on RottenTomatoes.com. I think it's Rose Byrne.
Yeah.
People just love Rose Byrne.
Agreed.
I love Rose Byrne. I haven't checked this out yet, but I hear it's pretty good.
Yeah, definitely. And it was not a good week for JJ, because Apple has opted not to pick up the second season of a half-hour romantic dramedy, Little Voice, from J.J. Abrams and Sarah Bareilles. Now, the show, which featured original music by the Grammy and Tony winner nominee Bareilles, premiered last summer and had a quiet run, drawing a loyal but small audience compared to other recent half-hour Apple series. So they were just like, killed it.
I think JJ's going to be okay, though.
I think so, too.
I'm just saying. Hey, what's he gonna do? Oh no, he's gonna be fine.
Exactly.
I'm excited about this one because I love Matthew Vaughn. Apple Original Films is closing worldwide rights on Argyle, the next film to be directed by Matthew Vaughn and produced by his Marv Banner. Get this: the package for an asking price of $200 million, and sources say that this deal will close right around that exact amount. It's a deal for one picture, but the hope is that they'll be getting to launch a franchise. Now, Argyle comes in with a pretty hefty cast, hence the $200 million asking price. Superman himself, Henry Cavill, Sam Rockwell, Bryce Dallas Howard, Bryan Cranston, Catherine O'Hara, John Cena, and Samuel L. Jackson. What the fuck?
That's crazy.
The $200 million is just for the salaries. What are they going to do the production with? Holy shit. And get this, I'm super excited about this one. Making her screen starring debut will be Grammy winner Dua Lipa. That's fucking fantastic. I'm a huge fan of Dua. That's going to be awesome.
Exactly.
And apparently, this is how they got her, with maybe not having to pay her so much money. She's also going to provide music for the title track and score. The film follows the world's greatest spy as he is caught up in a globe-trotting adventure.
Very interesting,
That's a fucking brilliant cast,
though. Apple's got that money, though. Apple's got that money.
I guess so.
Speaking of, Brendan Fraser has joined the cast of Martin Scorsese's Killers of the Flower Moon.
Yeah.
Everybody knows we've been talking about this one, the one with Leonardo DiCaprio and Robert De Niro. Very interesting premise. I'm actually really curious to see this one. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that it's probably going to be a classic overall. But as soon as I say that, I think about The Irishman. So, I mean, it's going to be very interesting. Like I said, I mean, it's got some amazing people attached, but Who knows?
Absolutely. All I'm going to say is thank you, Greg Berlanti, for giving us Doom Patrol and allowing Brendan to make it back into the limelight.
He deserves it. He's a
does.
good guy.
He does. I know you're excited about this one because we're both big fans of Justice Smith.
Yes.
Apparently, Justice Smith has joined Julianne Moore and Sebastian Stan in Apple's original film, Sharper.
Nice.
Not much details about the film or the characters, but we do know that Smith is set to play Tom, a bookstore owner in New York City. That's about as vague as you can get, guys, but thanks for that info.
Exactly, but at least he's taking on more adult roles because the one he just played in Generation, he was a high school student.
That's true.
So he can bounce back and forth.
That's true.
Really excited about that. But now it is time for the one and only Reed Miller to come on the show and talk about Joe Bell. Oh, man, this was such an inspiring interview. This guy... Honestly, like, anytime he's wanting to come back on the show, I mean, just call us up while we're recording. He can freaking, it does not matter. He's epic. I can't wait for everybody to hear this one.
I know. I mean, we tease it all the time, but you really will ride a wave of emotions with this interview. We get really deep, but then it's also a lot of fun, and just, he's a great guy.
Agreed. Well, here he is.
Reed Miller, welcome inside the Crazy Ant Farm, man. How are you?
Dude, I'm great. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, man, we are super stoked to have you on. Logan and I have both seen the movie, and we may or may not have just watched one of your short films, so we're going to talk about that. We're going to be talking about that a little bit. Oh, yeah! That Amazon Prime! Damn that Amazon Prime!
What the hell, man?
You're welcome for the $3, my friend.
Dude, thank you.
Yeah.
I honestly needed it.
But yeah, man, we're super pumped, and I know the listeners are going to be just stoked, man.
Yeah, this is great. Thank you so much for having me. I love the energy. It's a very, very, very nice change of pace.
Well, good. But what we like to do at the very beginning of each interview is have our guest introduce themselves to the listeners. Tell us how you got into it. Did you always want to do this, or did you just kind of fall into it?
I honestly kind of fell into it. You know, when I was growing up, I was very artistic and very odd. Mm-hmm. Like I think back to like how I was when I was like 13 or like 12. I'm like, oh my God, what was that? But that was just me, like not knowing like who I was or what I wanted to do, but I had all of this creative energy all the time, which is actually like one of the reasons something a lot of people don't know is I got into running. Like I'm a huge runner. I run all the time. I run like 3 times a day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so I got into running because I had all that energy and I had nothing to do with it. But yeah, so basically my parents, took me out of school because I grew up with a lot of anxiety and just nervousness in general. So it was very hard for me to focus in a normal school setting. And, they were really just kind of having a hard time figuring out like, okay, like what is the best path for him to take? Because he's not like other kids. He's not going to get into sports. He's not going to have a desk job. Like he's definitely going to do something different. And so my mom ended up hearing about this essentially like a talent search / showcase type of deal called the Arts. And their whole thing is they travel to small towns like mine, specifically looking for people who are trying to find their place in the arts. And I auditioned and I prepared a monologue that I cringe at now. And I also cried on stage because someone's phone rang in the middle of my monologue. Oh. And it was so literally seared into my brain is the sound of this horrible, like, Verizon phone, like, I mean, when I like seared, man, like it like, people wake up at, like in the middle of the night with a cold sweat, like they're like, oh man, I had a dream where I was naked in my classroom. No, I had a dream about that ringtone. It haunts
me. So now every audition, you're like, I'm gonna need your phone. For the moment, I'm gonna have to put all these away.
I walk in. I'm gonna need to make sure everyone's phones are on silent before we start going here.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, so anyway, I did that, and I was so upset, like on a real note, because it was like, man, like that kind of felt like my only opportunity to try something that may be the key to what I need to be doing with my life. But I was very lucky that Kim Myers, who owns the whole thing, before I had my freak out, saw that that there was something there and that I wasn't awful. And she was very kind, and she told us to stay after all the auditions were done. And she, was like, we want to accept you into the program. We want to help you. We want to train you. We're going to take you to Orlando with all these other people, and you're going to perform for a bunch of agents and managers. Honestly, just the typical art show, the typical like acting showcase thing.
Right.
And long story short, did that, went really well. Went through some agents and managers until I ended up with the team that I'm with now, who I absolutely adore and have been my day ones. And I cannot believe I just said day ones. I'm gonna need you to delete that. I'm gonna need you to delete that
right now.
We'll be sure to do that, Reed. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be sure to do that as we're live.
I don't believe we signed over editorial control to you, Reed.
But last I checked, so that's kind of where I started and how I kind of got my my start in the industry.
And was that in Chattanooga?
No. So I was born in Chattanooga.
Okay.
And I moved to Texas.
Okay,
to
good,
Lubbock, Texas,
good. Yeah.
When I was like 6.
Yeah,
and then I moved to, no, I'm so sorry. I moved to Lubbock a lot earlier. I moved to Odessa, Texas when I was 6 because I spent a majority of my life in Odessa, like Friday Night Lights.
Yeah.
And that's where I had my audition, and that's where I moved from Odessa to LA.
Oh, nice. Fantastic. And I tell you what sticks out to me in that little passage right there. And I mean, especially kind of hits home for me because my brother is also a very anxious person and doesn't really know. He just recently dropped out of school as a junior because he couldn't function in a normal classroom setting and just couldn't be around anyone else. So now, of course, still staying at home, working the day job, but he's doing really well with like this online gaming. And my parents are
dude.
Yeah, they're in like full support of that. So I just think
that's amazing.
Not even just for actors coming up, for everyone who is just trying to make it through life. Just because you are in this type of situation, just because you were born this way, doesn't mean you can't succeed in life. So
absolutely.
I think that's very important that you shared your story about that. So I appreciate that.
For sure. Yeah. And I'm glad you said that because it is so true. It's, I was diagnosed with an anxiety disorder and I overthink everything all the time.
Oh, my
and
goodness,
it's like, and it can feel like the end of the world when really it's, just because you may not be considered, what other people's definition of normal may be, doesn't mean that you can't succeed and doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you.
Absolutely.
It just means you operate in a different way, which honestly can be more which can honestly help you later in life, honestly.
Agreed. And it touches so many people. Like Logan has his brother. My daughter suffers very badly from anxiety and she'll go back and rethink things from like 20 years ago. I mean, I'm like, you're 22. How do you even remember 20 years ago? But
it just came out of the womb, man.
Exactly. But it really does kind of affect, I think, so many people and not enough people are aware of it,
Absolutely. I mean, it is certainly something I feel that is maybe not brushed aside, but it's something that is very much either overlooked or you kind of get the eye roll of like, anxiety, everyone has that. When no, not to the degree that you may think.
Right.
Everyone has anxiety to a degree. Of course they do. We're all human beings. But there is also this level of it. There is, for some people, it can be so extreme that it's like your world is ending in those moments. And it's like it can like bring you to your knees. Like it's something that can like keep you down if you let it.
Yeah.
And so, that's why I think Joe Bell was so important too, was not to like loop that in, but to just add, like, that's one of the things that drew me to doing that film was, being able to not only talk about anxiety, but to talk about bullying as well and how, bullying can affect anxiety. And it's a whole thing. But yeah, I'm glad that got brought up. That's a very important topic that I hope to talk more about with future projects as well.
Definitely. And I mean, both of the most recent projects we saw you in, Joe Bell and your short film Flicker, I mean, very like deep dives into like the mental health aspect of things. So I think that's very much, we try to pride ourselves on this year being very aware of the mental health aspect, especially going through quarantine and how that affected everybody. So we've been
Oh
trying
yeah.
to talk more about mental health and how everything's been affected during this past year. So we really appreciate you for making this type of content, because it's very important right now to make sure people don't feel alone, basically.
Absolutely. And I appreciate that. I mean, I think, I mean, yeah, like not to talk about COVID, but like, oh my God. Like,
I know.
Right. I
affected
mean,
everyone in such an intense way and in such like intensely personal ways that it's like, we're all still recovering. Some people are like traumatized for life from it. I mean, it was, I can't even like put a word to like what that year was and what it did to people. It's
Right.
just, it's insane to think about.
well, and again, like Logan said at the top of the show, the podcast we have a lot of listeners. Our fan base is filled with people trying to get into. So your story is very inspiring to the fact of like you can come from. I mean, geez, like you brought it up, Friday Night Football, right? Odessa, Texas. If you're not playing
Yeah.
football, you don't exist, right? But here you
Exactly,
go,
yeah.
and in an area that's known for that. You find your place, you find your niche, and you get out and you succeed and you find what you're supposed to be doing in life. And if that's not inspiring, I don't know what is, right? For all those people out there in small towns thinking, I don't have a shot or I don't know where I'm going or what I'm doing, you're a prime example of here's how it happens. So congrats on that, man.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I'm very blessed and lucky to have the team that I have and my family that got me here. Of course, I mean it was all a team effort from everyone. My mom, my dad, my actual team. I mean, it's just it's been one step at a time, but it's been a journey for sure, and it's been great, and I'm very lucky.
Definitely. And I mean, talk about your beautiful story. Now let's talk about this beautiful story, Joe Bell.
Mhm.
I mean, this is just a phenomenal film. I mean,
Thank you.
it should get Oscar nominations, really. I mean, if it was released in the right theatrical window, I mean, it was awesome. Like, I loved it. But
Thank you.
let's start at the very beginning. How did the audition
Yeah.
process go, and how did you hear about it?
It was one of those things where there wasn't any special thing where it's like I heard the script was floating around, like I need to be in that movie. It was
Right.
just like I think I was house sitting. Me and my mom were house sitting for someone, and I just got this tape for this film that they were calling Untitled Joe and Jaden Bell Project. And it was a different director. It was a vastly different script. It was Cary Fukunaga directing, who is still on board as a producer, but he ended up moving on to direct No Time to Die, the James Bond film coming out in November. So I definitely had a geek out moment where I met him and I was like, oh my God. Because it's like, oh, James Bond, because I love James Bond. But
Right.
That's beside the point. I hope he doesn't hear this. And so, but I read for it and I taped it like that morning, and I got lunch with a friend, and then I got a call from my manager that they wanted me to do another tape, like same day. It was like a same day callback.
Oh wow.
And I was like, oh man, like that's never happened. So I was like, oh wow, okay. That's so exciting. So I did it again. And it was some of my best work that I had put on tape at the time. I was super proud of it. I sent it in, and I didn't hear anything. I didn't hear anything for months.
Damn.
Yeah, that's as I say, some of my best work. Didn't hear anything after that. But it was, and it was one of those things where I would kind of think about it ever so often, like it would come back up somehow in conversation. I'm like, yeah, man, I don't know what happened to that. It's kind of a heartbreak, I really put a lot of myself into it, but it is what it is. And then a few months later, this is actually really funny. I got another audition for it. It was a different director. It was Ronaldo Marcus Green, the guy who ended up directing the film. A different script, and I almost said no.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I almost said no. Like, I called my manager and was like, do you think I should tape for this again? And she was like, you absolutely need to tape for this again, you idiot. Like, yeah, put it on tape. And then, like, and of course, like, I was super passionate about the project still. So I was like, I want to give this another shot because I love this material and I love this story.
Right.
And I did. And then a few weeks later, I did a callback at Mark Wahlberg's house.
Oh man.
Just gonna put that out there.
Yeah. Talk about that for a minute. Like, what's the reaction when you get that phone call? Like, we want you to do a screen test at Wahlberg's house. Like, what?
God, I remember where I was. I was in my living room. I was on my old MacBook, like trying to get it to work, and I had turned it on and off like 12 times. That's off topic, but and then I got an email, and it was just from my agent, and it just said Untitled Joe and Jane Bell call back at Mark's house, and I was like, who's Mark? And I clicked on it, and it said casted Mark Wahlberg as Joe Bell. And so that was shit a moment of me like running through the house like, did you see that? Like, like yelling at my mom like, open your email right now. Like, it was, and so I went, and there were a lot of people there for the like, and obviously I don't know. There's always this weird thing that happens in my head where when I either get a call back or I'm really far into the process and I'm going in person, which doesn't happen anymore because of COVID.
Right.
But what used to happen is I would go, and there would be this weird like happy thought in my brain. It's like, oh well, maybe I'll get there, and it turns out I'm the only one there, and I'm the only one which is obviously never happened.
Right.
But there's always the glimmer of hope of maybe I don't have to work that hard. But I got there, and there were a lot of people that I knew, like that. Well, not like personally, but that I recognized, like people that were like star names for my age group. And I was like, what am I doing here? Like, because I was like, man, I don't like, I'm not like any of these people. These people, like, we're all so vastly different. Mm-hmm. And you start getting in your head, and then Mark came out and was super nice, and he didn't say, like, he said hi, like, generally, and then he looked at me and he said, good to see you, right to me, and then walked away. And I was like, okay, I've seen Ender's Game, and he got beat up because of that. I don't know is this a test or? But I and then a few people went up before me, and then I went in, and I actually got really emotional for a second. I was really not like overwhelmed, but it was like, wow, like here I am in front of, like, reading with someone that I've watched on the big screen for years. Like the first film I ever saw him in was Transformers: Age of Extinction, and I'm a huge Transformers fan, regardless of how good the movie is. But I'm a huge Transformers fan. Don't tell him I said that. But I love that movie, and so when I saw him, it's like I'm seeing the guy that I wanted to be, and I was like, oh my god! Like I before we started reading, I said, before we read this or anything, I do want to say,
give
thank
me your
you.
phone.
Yeah, give me. Yeah, can I please get a picture with you? No, but it was like, and I was so genuine, and it was just really coming from the heart of like, hey, I do want to say, regardless, like, thank you so much for the opportunity, and for letting me be here to meet you, and to read with you, regardless of what happens. And they were, of course, very appreciative, and we read it, and it was great. And Mark was walking me out, and he was like, he's like, I don't know what's going to happen, but I just want you to know that when I read with you and talk to you, it's like I'm talking to my own son. And, for me, there was that moment of like, I have this. But then there was also that moment of, I can't go there though, because in this industry, everything can change in half a second. Right, and there were like 5 other kids out there who were still reading for it. So for me, I was excited, but also I was like, okay, I really need to keep it together because I don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
And then after that, I got another call back at his house, and before I went though, the director wanted to meet with me privately. So me and him got coffee, and he basically was like, look, I brought my script. I thought we were going to be doing like script work. Right. And he was like, you're not going to need that. And I was like, oh no. I thought that was it, man. I was like, and I lost it. But he was like, no, he's like, I want to talk to you and get to know you and like about your experiences and get to know who you are. And he was like, look, I'm going to tell you, I love you. Mark loves you. You're our pick, but it's not in our control. So he's like, when you show up, I think it was in like 2 days. Like when you show up on Friday for the callback, I need you to be other level. Like you need to go in there and you need to do whatever it takes. I'm like, okay, no pressure, sick. Right. But I'm glad he said that though, because it really sent me into hyperdrive. And and so I'm very close with my mom. I'm very close with my family in general. Mm-hmm. And so my mom, when I'm doing things like this, she normally comes with me. But she was out of town because we had a family member who was having a surgery. So my manager came with me, and I'm very close with my manager. We're very good friends. And so she came with me, and there was no one else there.
Oh, shit.
It was just me.
Oh.
And I was like, okay, wait a minute, something's happening. Like the stars are either the stars are aligning or I'm about to get mugged. Like, and the this lady who works for him, this very kind lady, I can't remember her name, but she was so kind. She was like, here, let's go, follow me. We're gonna go downstairs while we wait for Mark. And then this other lady comes up and is like, would you like some breakfast?
Oh.
And I was like, I thought this was a test. So, you hear the test of like, if they put a bottle of water in front of you, you better drink the whole thing to show you're not nervous.
Right.
So I was like, yeah, I do want breakfast. And she was like, what do you want? And I'm like, what do you mean what do I want? What are you offering? And she was like, would you like chocolate chip pancakes? And I was like, yeah, I would. And like, I don't know why I took it like a threat. Like, yeah. Chocolate chip pancakes, lady. And she was so nice. And so she brought me pancakes. And Abby didn't, my manager didn't say this to me at the time, but she knew when they offered me breakfast that I had the role.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
But I didn't, because I didn't want to go there because I still had to eat with them.
Right.
So when I tell you that I almost puked those pancakes up, I ate them so fast. I thought he was watching me through a security camera. I was like, I'm going to eat this so fast. But anyway, so then we read together, and at the end, he and Ray were standing there, and he just kind of looked at me, and he was like, hey, he's like, can you give me just like 5 minutes to talk to Ray? We're just going to step outside and you stay in here. And I was like, yeah, sure. And I was really nervous. I was like, man, I feel like they're gonna say, great job, but we're going with someone. Like, I didn't know. Like, I thought they were gonna go with someone else. And I went out there, and he looked at me, and he was like, all right, you want the job? And of course I said yes, and then I cried. And
of
I
course,
to Mark Wahlberg's text, and that was that.
That's right,
but
man.
It was just, So it's actually such a cool story. But I will always appreciate Mark taking the time to bring me to his house to tell me that I had the role in person.
Oh my gosh! And for everybody out there listening, because the one thing that stuck out to me is like, right, you think Mark Wahlberg, and then you think director. And then they tell you, but it's not in our control. So wait a minute. You're telling me Wahlberg and the director are getting overridden by somebody else? So for all the listeners out there that are trying to break in, kind of explain that a little bit. Like, who says to Wahlberg and the director, hey, we get the final decision? How'd that play? Was it a studio-driven decision, or what was that?
Yeah, I mean, it was one of those, once I had the role, I got a lot more information. It was basically just Mark and Ray. Mark specifically has a lot of pull because he's a producer.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, it's him versus two studios.
Right.
And the studios wanted a name. They wanted a name to play Jaden.
Mm-hmm.
And Mark was like, I know you want a name, but this is the kid. Like, he's going to be the next thing. And we need to put him in this, and people need to see who he is.
Wow.
So the only reason I got the part was Mark and the director having absolute trust in me and believing that I was right for the role. And that's I talk about this a lot, with my family and with my team. It's all it takes is one person believing in you.
Yes.
And that is even as I say that to someone listening to this who is just getting into the industry, it's like, well, how do I get someone to believe in me? And it's like, you just have to absolutely work your ass off and be yourself, and don't change for anyone. And the right person at the right time who has the right pull is going to see the hard work.
Yes. So good. And I mean, I'm just crying hearing that story.
I mean seriously.
Oh my gosh. I wish I could cry into Mark Wahlberg's pecs.
Right.
Same. Well, I mean, I did, but it's a little awkward afterwards.
I'd do it again.
Well, and I mean, that feeling that now you must be able to carry with you forever is when you know that Mark Wahlberg said, trust me, this is the guy. This is the person everybody needs to see. He's the next big thing. I'm like, that's great if somebody's telling you that. It's your best friend or whoever. But
or your mom.
Your mom. But when Wahlberg says he's the next big thing, I mean, I don't know, but I'm feeling pretty good if I hear that from Wahlberg. So.
I mean, well, and what was really cool too is there's a scene in the film, and now that the film's out, I can talk about it. The scene in the film in the very beginning where I come out to my dad.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So when we were filming that scene, I think we hadn't shot my angle yet. We were filming Mark's side, and I had started crying in the middle of the scene, as I did on my take. And so we were rolling, and then we cut. Mark was like, pulled me in for a hug. He's like, hey man, you got to save the tears for your angle. and then we did the scene, and we cut. and everyone was like clearing out, and he's like, "Here, wait here for a second." And me and him just kind of stood there, and he looked at me and he was like, "This is why I hired you."
Oh.
He looked at me and he was like, "Don't you?" He's like, "Don't you ever doubt for a single second why you're here." He's like, "You're here for a reason," and that just showed me again and again why you're here.
Man, I'm like,
and then he just
speechless.
walked away, and I was like, "Whoa! You're not gonna walk away." I'm just saying,
Right.
"Let me hug you again." Like,
That's right. That's your safe space now. His pecs, right? It's like he pulled me into my
literally.
safe place. Like,
yeah, hug me, man. Pull me in. Wrap your arms around me, dog. Don't be weird about it. Come here.
Oh man. Well,
He's
listen,
a great guy, though. Great guy.
I want to get serious for a minute though, because
Yeah, absolutely.
what he said to you, it was absolutely correct, because Logan and I have been talking about it since we've seen it, right? And I just feel like, dude, you deliver, and nobody will be able to dispute this. This is just fact. You deliver an Oscar-worthy performance, and we were both like, damn it, this should have been released towards the end of the year and I'm hoping like hell they're smart enough to do a re-release, because I feel like both you and Wahlberg are nomination worthy. In my opinion, should win.
Agreed.
But the performances are absolutely just, I don't know. I was speechless, and I can tell you my theater in tears and a standing ovation when it was over. I mean, it was that good.
Awesome.
Dude, and I don't know what it was. The scenes where you guys are like the Lady Gaga scene.
That was so fucking funny.
Or the cheerleading scene in the rain, or just like I can't even pick a favorite scene between the two of you all. But then the scene in the bathroom where the guys are beating you, and just like, I'm like, this kid is fucking phenomenal. Like dude. You're gonna be the star name that other kids in the room are going, oh shit, there's a star name in here, Mike.
Exactly.
Like, you know,
it's Reed Miller.
It's Reed Miller. Shit.
They're like, oh, come on.
Yeah, right.
Not this guy.
Exactly.
Seriously, thank you. I deeply appreciate that. Thank you.
Of course. And I gotta know, did you know about like this story before you got the script?
I didn't. So when it happened, I was 13.
Mm-hmm.
I was very young. I've said this before. Like I had heard like rumors and little things here and there, like on TV or from people like at my church who had mentioned like, oh, did you hear about that thing that happened? Like,
right.
But I never knew about Joe.
Yeah, I didn't
either. I didn't know like the full context of what happened. So, when I ended up actually finally getting the part, the contract was done. Because, then the contract is a whole other thing. But once all was done and I finally knew, like, okay, I have this part, it was just tons of research. And, like, I was pretty shocked at the story. Like, I had read the script and I, was shocked by the script. But, it's just seeing, like, how true to life it was and seeing what happened. I mean, I was just like, what, like, how do we get here?
Right. Exactly.
How do people have such, what's the right way to say this, have such a lack of other people's emotions and like disregard for other people that we get to this point.
Right.
Like the fact that we even had to make a movie about it is quite frankly very sad.
It is wholeheartedly. And I have to ask you a question, because you brought up that it was a different version of the script than the first one you had read. And I thought it was very brilliantly done. And even the reaction from some of the people in the theater that I was watching, they were like, oh, the way that it was shot to not imply, like if you didn't know the story of Joe Bell, right? The people were shocked to find out that Jaden was actually dead. Wait a minute, he's not there with him? Like on this trip?
Yeah.
Was it like that in the original script as well? Or was that a very intentional change to kind of like lead the audience along a little bit about, is he real or not real with him there?
It's definitely, in every version of the script, I've been along the walk with him, but it's definitely been, there has been some back and forth as to, okay, well, do we keep it a secret? And if we do keep it a secret, that is a little manipulative.
Right.
We don't want, and like, it's funny and it's true. It's like, yeah, but we don't want this to feel manipulative. So it was a weird balance of like, okay, this is also a movie.
Mm-hmm.
And that is in the producer's hands. So my job was kind of being the voice for Lola, his mother, and
Right.
and me and the director would have a lot of conversation. Like we would have dinner about this, and I'd be like, look, like okay, so the scene, for example, where Lola finds the note that Jaden left, and then she goes to the school. Like probably one of the most horribly emotional, intense scenes of the film.
Oh,
right.
Is that whole section? I think for me affects me the most. It feels like an emotional horror movie.
Yeah.
And because it is, you know, that scene in particular, they wanted me to essentially go out there and do that stunt. And I said no. Like I feel like I remember even like talking to my team about it. Like I talked to Ray, I was like, look, not only am I uncomfortable doing that, but I don't think people need to see that.
Right.
Like we get the message clear enough. Like the script in of itself is already devastating.
Exactly.
I do feel like there's a line, not only a line for the audience, but a line for the family. And you know, so it was that really difficult balance of, you know, what do we allow to be, you know, fictionalized Hollywood for the fact that this is a film, while also staying true and honoring these people. That was really difficult. So the line of, okay, well, do we reveal if Jaden's dead? If do we hold on? Like that was quite a difficult thing that I think that they dealt with, because I saw so many edits where they jump back and forth. But for me, my opinion was not using it as like a big reveal, but it's like revealing the death later in the film was more powerful.
Agreed.
Like, because there was an edit, there was a version of the movie where the death happened like 5 minutes in.
Oh, wow.
And I remember I was sitting there and Ray paused it and he looked at me and he said, "What do you think about that?" And I looked at him and I said, "Do you want my honest opinion?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "It's not good." I said, "This is not the movie we made." I said, "This is a teaser montage of a version of the movie that we didn't intend to make."
Wow.
And he looked at me and he said, "Right answer. I completely agree."
Wow.
And we were completely on the same page, because it's like there has to be that level of putting the death later on. You can't make everyone happy.
Right.
Exactly.
You know, some people are going to get mad. Some people are going to say, "Well, it was manipulative. They're trying to shock us." When really it's like, no, we're trying to make the film as emotionally poignant as we can so that you get the message. And some people aren't going to like that, and some people are. And it's just one of those things where you can't please everyone. I mean, if you look at the Rotten Tomatoes, it's so split.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, I think on like the critic side, it's at like a 40, and on the audience side, it's at like a 90. I checked yesterday.
Yeah.
So it's like one of those movies it just splits people.
Exactly.
You know?
And kudos
So
to you.
I think it's the people's movie.
Agreed. And kudos to you for stepping up and saying
Yes.
that you were uncomfortable by the situation and everything like that, because with you being so young and with you portraying like this real life story where the family will see it and you take into consideration and acknowledge that. So I just feel like that is very powerful that you use your voice in the correct manner, and more actors as young as yourself and older and younger need to speak up if they feel uncomfortable, especially if it's a real life portrayal of something that actually happened.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
it's just so important to honor everyone.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and the maturity and the intelligence enough to know and to be brave enough. It's one thing when you're thinking it, but to say it to the director, well, you're completely wrong. This is not the film we made.
Yeah.
I mean,
There were moments where I was like, "Oh my god!"
did I just say that to him? Like,
did I just say? There literally had the moments where I'm like, "Oh my god, what did I just say?" But I'm glad I did.
Absolutely.
I'm glad that I did, and that I stood up for what I thought, and what Mark thought was right.
And can we just talk about the irony of, right, here's a kid from Odessa, Texas, in probably the biggest role of his life to this point, right? It's so super powerful. And whose cast is your mom? But Friday Night Lights alum Connie Britton.
I know.
The irony of that is like, are you kidding me? Friday Night Lights, come on now. But oh my gosh.
It's like someone's where's Ashton Kutcher?
Right.
Where's Ashton? I'm getting
pumped.
punked.
Oh my gosh, the chemistry between the two of y'all. I mean, we're talking about Wahlberg, but you and Connie Britton were just some of the scenes that you guys had, and I agree with you that school scene where that principal, I just want to get up and smack the shit out of her. Like, what?
Oh,
I
yeah.
am trying to help you. Like, what? No, like,
No, you're not. No, you're not. it's so funny you bring that scene up because there was a lot of improv.
Yeah.
A lot of improv in a lot of these scenes, and they kept a lot of it where we'd be in between takes, and Ray would go, read between the lines this time. Say what Jaden would say.
Oh, wow.
And in that scene, there's a version of that scene on the cutting room floor where I chew her up and spit her out.
Oh, shit.
And we cut, and Ray, like, looked over the camera, like, kind of peeked over and was like, yeah, I think we're good on that one. Because that's the thing is, like, Joe Bell was my first experience genuinely feeling it.
Yeah.
Every second. And I couldn't help but Reed come out a little bit and be like, what is wrong with you, lady?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, this poor woman, I don't even know her. That seemed nice. I'm over here just absolutely ripping her a new one. And then we cut. I'm like, I'm so sorry. What was it, Barbara? It was Janet. Oh, sorry. Sorry, Janet.
Oh, no.
You know, it's just, she was wonderful. She did such a good job. I didn't like her.
Yeah.
You know, like she did her job so well.
Well,
it was really well written.
That's so good. That's so good. Everything about this movie, like I said, was just absolutely amazing. And then, like, I didn't know anything about like what actually happened to Joe himself. So at the end, I was already a puddle of tears before we got to the end. And then the end happened, and so I'm like, oh my god!
Oh yeah, it's just punch after punch.
It really is, but it's an important story, and I'm glad that we were able to see it being told by such a phenomenal cast, phenomenal writers, everybody who is attached. I mean, it was so important and so needed right now because, I mean, there's so much divide in the world, and I feel like if people just take the time to learn other people's stories, there would be less hate and less violence and less of all the bullshit. So I felt like this was very needed.
Hey, you know what, too? If people would just take the time to learn that these films also need to be on 4,000 screens, like the Avengers films and different things, because I mean, what is it saying to society with something so relevant and so important, and you have a name like Wahlberg and you still can't get into 4,000 screens? Are you kidding me? This is the kind of story, we talk about it all the time, that needs to be told. These are the type movies that need to be seen, and we're all in. We're all into the superhero films and Transformers and all the fun stuff, right? But these stories need to be seen as well, and I just hope we can get to a point one day where we can get Joe Bell on 4,000 plus screens. That's where we need to get to.
I completely agree. I absolutely completely agree.
Oh, man.
Completely.
I damn near cried during this interview, and you're just telling all of these stories because I'm also a very emotional person. So when you bring up stuff like this, it gets me emotional, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. But anyway, let's lighten up the mood, lighten it up a little bit. Okay,
right,
all right.
right.
Yeah, we're gonna switch it up a little bit. So you like Jason Bourne?
Right,
that's right. That's right.
What new stuff that we're trying on the podcast is asking our guests, what is the most embarrassing moment on stage and or on set where it was just so crazy that at the moment you're like, I'm never coming back from this, but now you can sit back and laugh about it.
Oh my god, I have it.
Oh no.
I have it.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so there was a show that my first big lead. I had my own show for 3 seasons called Play by Play.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's on Roku. It's a coming of age rom-com. It's just like about it's about this guy named Pete Hickey in the 90s who is too small to be a football player, but he wants to be a football player.
Mm-hmm.
But he ends up becoming the kicker. And he's like trying to get the girl, and it's super cute and quirky, and it's a great show. I'm really proud of it. So we filmed season 1, and then we filmed season 2 and 3 back to back.
Oh wow.
And when we were filming season 2 and 3, wow, did you hear that?
I didn't want to say anything. No. I didn't want to say anything.
I need you to edit that out right now.
That's your Peter Brady moment. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so there's a scene where I walk out. Man, that's my most embarrassing.
Right
moment.
there.
right there.
I just faint. So there's a scene where
where's Wahlberg's pecs when you need them? Like,
literally, where are they? Where are my pillows at, man? So the whole show takes place at a Roman at a Catholic school called St. Roman's. And there's a scene where I'm like storming through the school. I got all my football gear on, and I walk up to my friend in the show, and basically give him like a motivational speech on how I'm going to go out there and like win the game.
Right.
So I turn and I'm storming away. And you know those big like Catholic school doors that have those big windows on them?
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know who did it. I still don't have a name, and I'm going to get a name. I went to open the door with my right hand, and my hand, like I was pushing my hand against like the window pane, and I was walking so fast, there wasn't a window pane.
Oh.
Oh, no.
So my hand just goes into the empty space, and I just slam my nose so hard into the door. I like hit it, and then the door opens, and I was moving so fast that I just fall into the other side of the door and hit the ground, and the door shuts, and you just hear and everyone thinks that I'm playing and that I'm kidding until I stand up, and in the take you see my head peek out through the empty space and just blood everywhere.
Oh no!
Like they thought I broke my nose because I hit the door so hard.
Right.
And it immediately turned blue. That they're like, oh my god, his nose is blue. He broke his nose. And I didn't. I just like really bruised it. But it was so funny because everyone was laughing. Like they thought that I did it on purpose. And I'm like on the ground with like a concussion, and my nose is in my brain at this point. And I'm laying there like, could someone please call a doctor? Like,
right?
I need some help. Can I get some ice or something?
That is
It was
hilarious.
just so funny. And it's hilarious now, but at the time I was like, yeah, it was funny then too. It was pretty funny then too. But that's definitely that's something I'll never forget. That was just way too hilarious.
Oh my god! Yeah, whoo, yeah. And how do you cover that? That immediately bruises. It's blue, and it's like, okay, let's reset. We got to do it again.
Right.
What?
Yeah. It was like, and we were really lucky. I think we had gotten the take.
Oh, good for
in
you.
the previous one, but I think it was like, I think they just wanted to do like a safety take.
There you go.
And so we were really lucky, and that was the last scene of the day. So it was one of those things where it was like, if it was going to happen, at least it happened now and not like an hour earlier.
Exactly.
But I remember they were like carrying me away, and I'm like, who took the window pane out? Who took it out? And I'm like yelling as I'm being carried. You just hear me down the hallway. I'll invite you. Like, you know, like what am I going to do about it?
Right.
Like 4'9", weighing 50 pounds, wet. You know what I mean?
Oh my goodness,
man.
that's great. Well, listen, man, this has
Yeah.
been absolutely a blast. I mean,
Yeah,
literally,
thank
any
you.
time that you want to come back on the show to just promote anything you want, or just shoot the shit, we have an industry news segment where we talk literally about everything every week that's happening in Hollywood. And we do a top 5 segment.
That's
so,
right.
Oh, geez.
I know.
That's
So
a good one. That's awesome.
It gets intense. It gets intense.
I just think there's opportunity here for you to come back on and do a top 5 Wahlberg films,
Right.
I mean, I think so, right?
Oh, I would love to.
That's right. And I'm already working on a spoof of Wahlberg's pecs. It's going to be fantastic. I can't promise I won't
that's
sketch
great.
you, but
I love that. No, I would, and this has been such a great experience. You guys are wonderful. I would totally love to come back on.
Awesome.
And talk to you guys and talk about future projects. And yeah, no, this has been great. And just hang out.
Yes.
Oh, man.
We love it, man. We love it.
And before we go, though, we
Yes.
got to have, where can everybody follow you? Because it's all about social media right now, right?
Yeah. Okay. Oh, I know. Yeah. So my Instagram is The Real Reed Miller, all lowercase, and Reed is REID. I had to put the real one there because you never know.
That's right.
Don't want anyone stealing my identity. Identity theft is not a joke.
No, it's not.
So please follow The Real Reed Miller. And I actually don't have a Twitter, but I weirdly enough have a Facebook because I'm 80 years old.
Yeah.
And it's just Reed Miller. So yeah, no, this has been wonderful. I've absolutely loved getting to talk to you guys and just hang out and talk all things Joe Bell and everything else. It's just been awesome.
That's right. And everybody go to Amazon Prime and watch Flickr.
Yes.
Oh man.
That was intense, man. The three of us, it was me, Logan, and my daughter, and we were watching and we were just like, whew, that's intense.
Like, what is this?
Yeah, right.
Intense, but I
You
have
were
no
kind to
idea
me,
what's happening.
but
Yeah, and we see you're going to have to come back on because we didn't even scratch the surface that you're also a
Oh,
writer
yeah.
and producer and director and creating your own content. So, I mean, that's fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
What do you do when
Save that
COVID
for
shuts
part
everything
2.
down? Yeah, that's right.
You
Create
make your own
own.
shit.
Exactly.
You make your own stuff.
That's
Get
right.
to work.
Oh my goodness. Well, listen, man. Have a great rest of the day, and
Thank you.
we'll be interacting with you on social media, and we'll be talking to you soon.
Sounds fantastic, guys. Have a great day. Thank you so much.
Yep. Take care now.
Yeah, take care, guys.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So good, man. So good.
Wow. Not only is he a lot of fun and just energetic and you like how you would think he would be for a young guy, right? But then that maturity level kicks in and like the know-how of knowledge to say, no, I'm not doing that. And plus, this isn't the film I'm comfortable with. We got to do like just that's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's 21. Such a young guy, like with such a good head on his shoulders in the entertainment industry, acting across one of the best actors we have at the moment.
Right.
So, I mean, kudos to him. He's absolutely badass, and I can't wait to have him back on the show.
Oh, absolutely. And I just hope we can ever get to the level where we can bury ourselves in Mark Wahlberg's pants.
I hope so too. I hope so too. Oh my goodness. Feel those good vibrations. Oh my goodness. Thank you again, Reed, for coming on the show.
Whew.
Oh man. I mean, I don't even know what to say. This one, like, America's Dad, we've been teasing it all freaking week. And I mean, there's like not a movie out there that I don't like of this guy. Like every single thing he does is so damn good.
I know. So choosing 5 was all but impossible.
Yeah.
We duplicated our lists and then we had to kind of go, okay, well, we don't want to have the same things on there, but obviously he has so many great movies, it's impossible not to.
Exactly.
But I think we narrowed it down. We have got 10 fantastic, we're of course talking about Tom Hanks films.
Yes.
10 fantastic Tom Hanks films. Woo!
And you know who loves all of them? Jenny. Jenny loves all
of them.
Like,
because
I mean,
and who loves Jenny? We do. We all love Jenny.
Exactly.
You know what shocked me about this one, though?
What?
Like, seriously, before we even get started, neither one of us had Apollo 13 on it.
Oh, such a good one.
ITCAF, we have a problem.
Right?
ITCAF, we have a problem. Right? Like, how does that one not show up? But
so
well.
damn good. That's crazy.
I know.
I didn't even notice. All right. I mean, let's jump right into it. Number 5 for me. Everybody knows I'm the younger one, so it's fine. Of course. I'm the one with less wrinkles.
What?
Number 5 is...
I just got laser surgery, bitch. I'm smooth.
No. The Toy Story franchise plays the infamous Woody. I mean, Woody to the Buzz. Like, I mean, you're the Woody to my Buzz. I'm just letting you know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean,
okay.
You know?
Just
getting deep.
I'll take that. I'll take that. I'll be the mentor, the good cowboy.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy. You say you're the young one, but I was like literally 25 when the first Toy Story came out. 25. We won't talk about how old I am now, but it was a while ago.
Yeah.
It was just a while ago. But
I don't know if I was born yet. It was like a few years before I was born. So there it is. There it is. I mean, this one's a classic, guys. You guys know the whole thing, all of it. It's great.
It's fantastic.
It's fantastic.
I'm just going to stick with I'm the Woody to your Buzz.
Yes.
Okay.
There you go.
All right, let's do it. Now, you guys know it's no secret. I'm a huge fucking Disney fan. I've everything about the history of Disney and Walt and all these different things. So this one had to be on my list. It's a little bit newer one, but I just thought it was brilliant. Saving Mr. Banks. It's the behind-the-scenes story about how Walt Disney basically, you know, did Mary Poppins and turned it into what it became.
Yeah.
And the author not so happy about what his plans were with it, but inevitably turned out to be huge, and she made a lot of money, and she was fine.
She was fine.
Yeah, but, you know, Tom Hanks playing Walt Disney, I mean, come on. You had to see that. You had to see that. It's just brilliant. So,
Exactly.
Saving Mr. Banks, my number 5.
So good, man. So good. And I mean, you know. There's no crying when it comes to baseball.
No, there's no crying.
Ever. Or podcast, or freaking filmmaking. Well, unless you're doing a scene. But
That's right.
You know that number 4 is A League of Their Own. This one's so damn good. I mean, of course, he's playing the infamous baseball coach. I mean, girls coming into baseball. It's great. I absolutely love the whole thing. I mean, there's so many great actors a part of this thing. Madonna's in this thing. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
seriously.
yeah.
Like, I mean, Gina Davis is phenomenal.
She
and their
is.
chemistry back and forth, Gina's and Tom's, is just brilliant in that film. Directed by the great late Penny Marshall and her brilliant director brother and mentor, Gary Marshall, has an appearance in the film. That right there makes it special. You got Tom Hanks, Gary Marshall, Penny Marshall, and Madonna.
Like, what makes it better?
I mean, that should be on anybody's list right there.
So good.
My number 4 is again, I mean, I don't know how you can. This guy's like maybe the greatest character actor of all time.
Seriously.
Just he plays everybody so brilliantly. I'm talking about Sully, where he plays old Sullenberger who lands the plane in the Hudson River in New York. It's a brilliant performance. I mean, it's absolutely stunning how this guy just pulls off these real-life characters. He's played so many real-life characters. And he does it again brilliantly. And what I really love about this film and Tom Hanks' performance and everybody, the direction in this film from Clint Eastwood, is that even though you know what happens, you're still on the edge of your seat like, holy shit, what's going on? What did happen? And the brilliance by Eastwood to, at the end, when you're hearing the cockpit audio of Sully, to switch it from Tom Hanks to the actual cockpit audio of Sullenberger. That's what you're hearing. Intense. It was a brilliant move. I loved this movie. I absolutely loved this movie. Sully, my number 4.
Oh, so good, man.
Yeah,
so
man.
Freaking good. My number 3 goes to Catch Me If You Can on your list last week for Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yes.
Of course, their dynamic was absolutely amazing. But also what I really liked about this film is the kind of like respect that Tom Hanks' character gives Leonardo DiCaprio's character every time that he outwits him. And even having so much respect for like him that he brings him into his agency and has him work for him at the end. And if anybody doesn't know, inspired by a true story, this really freaking happened.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, this criminal, after serving his time, came and worked for, I think, the FBI. So, I mean, it's an epic freaking story. And, I mean, if you guys haven't seen this one, what are you doing?
I mean, seriously.
Definition of a classic, especially with 2 legends in the game right now.
Oh, yeah.
So check it out.
Amy Adams and, like, I mean, there's so many people in that movie, man.
Agreed.
It's just brilliant. My number 3, Wilson! This had to be on the list. The drastic transformation. I have 2 on my list of drastic transformations. This is the first one. Castaway. Absolutely brilliant, about a FedEx pilot that goes down, gets stranded on the island, and basically everybody, he's there by himself for all this time, massive weight loss. He starts talking to his ball, his volleyball. Wilson draws the face on it and everything, and basically realizes he's got to get off that island at some point to survive. Just an absolutely, you know how hard it is to pull off a performance like that when you're not playing against anybody. You're literally by yourself, carrying the whole film. Yeah. Like, it's just absolutely brilliant. I can't think of any other way. I was living and working in Memphis at the time that this came out, so needless to say, that's where FedEx's hub is and our main headquarters. It was huge. It was huge in Memphis. I mean, duh. It was about FedEx, but just a brilliant movie, man.
Yeah.
I mean, brilliant movie. If you haven't seen this one, again, where the fuck are you living? Like, this is epic.
Exactly. Well, my number 2 goes to one of his more comedy roles, or romantic comedy, I should say, and I like this one more than Sleepless in Seattle. You've Got Mail, the second incarnation of the chemistry between him and Meg Ryan. I love this one because like he's supposed to be this jackass boss that's coming in and like taking over a bookstore to make it more corporate or whatever, or trying to buy a bookstore, I should say. But you know, they in real life they like don't like each other, but then online, like they start emailing back and forth, and there's a little bit of romance there. So I just think it's an excellent premise because it's definition of reading a book by its cover. So I mean, I feel like that's very important, and that's very important to acknowledge because all of us do it way too often, and we need to take a little step back to observe and assess the whole situation and the whole person before we judge someone. So, you know, my number 2, You've Got Mail. Again, great acting.
Brilliant. Yeah. And they're my favorites whenever they're together. Agreed. Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks, they're just brilliant together. The top 2 on my list are very personal to me for very personal reasons. But I have a Jenny. And if she's listening to this, she's going to fucking like either love me or hate me. But it's just fact. I have a Jenny. And so Forrest Gump was very personal. I just related to this story very, very much. My number 2, Forrest Gump. It's amazing. I mean, Robin Wright as Jenny and Gary Sinise as Captain Dion and Tom Hanks as Forrest Gump. It's just, I don't know. It's amazing. And we recently watched The Movies That Made Us, and I had no idea that he had no idea how he was going to do Forrest Gump until they hired the young actor to play young Forrest, and he copied his voice.
Yeah.
He was actually a Southern kid, and so that's where the whole Forrest accent and voice comes from. That's awesome. But I don't know how anybody cannot love this movie. Again, it's one of those things where you just don't judge people by the way they look or sound, and you live life to your fullest and just take chances and go for love. That's what it's all about, right? And just Forrest Gump, man.
Exactly.
I mean, shit.
So good.
So good.
So good. Well, on to my number one. Of course, one of us had to pick this one because, I mean, definition of a classic, definition of possibly one of the best military films out there ever. We're talking about Saving Private Ryan. This one was absolutely amazing. Just the opening scene. We've talked about this scene so much. Like, so intense. Such a real-life interpretation of what those soldiers were feeling and how Martin Scorsese capitalized on all of that. And just storming the beach of Normandy and just praying to their moms, hoping they were somewhere else, and showing how great our equipment was back then. I mean, able to just shoot through the helmets and like all that different shit. But I mean, such a phenomenal cast. I mean, Vin Diesel's in this thing. Obviously, Matt Damon. And let's talk about Matt Damon for a second in that film.
Yeah.
Like, that end story came up with on the spot. Like,
Yeah.
it wasn't even in the script. So,
I mean, brilliant.
Such a good fucking film.
That opening sequence, again, I'll just stick to it. The most realistic war scene ever put on film.
Yeah.
I mean, when you have members of the greatest generation saying it's the most real interpretation of what they went through when they stormed that beach, you know you got it right. It's hard to watch, though. It is hard to watch. Like you said, the bullets going through the helmets and the limbs flying off, and just it's disturbing to watch, but necessary, I think. There's a reason they're called the greatest generation. Watch that opening scene and you'll go, oh.
Like, that's
why.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great number one. I mean, without doubt. My number one, quite honestly, maybe, and this guy's got numerous Oscars, we know, but maybe his best performance ever, Philadelphia, where he plays a dying AIDS patient. Holy shit.
Yeah.
I mean, this one, the drastic transformation that we see him go through from a healthy man to dying of AIDS, the weight loss, the lesions, the sickly look, I was just floored.
Yeah.
And remember, this is at a time where there was still a stigma attached to AIDS, right? It was the gay disease. It was, there was so many different things, and it was still a lot of unknown factors about it. This movie brought the limelight to it, and it gave it a lot of attention and a lot of education for people that needed to be educated on the disease and what it was. Brilliant fucking performances, not only by Tom Hanks, but by Denzel Washington, who is the lawyer that was helping with the lawsuits against all of it, and Antonio Banderas as his lover, that inevitably gave him AIDS. There are no words for this movie. It was so powerful. And I said personal because my Jenny had just lost an uncle to AIDS when we went and saw this, and we were both in tears. I mean, it just moved you to tears. I don't know. It'll always be a really special movie for me and a special night for me. And I don't know. If you haven't seen it, go see it. It's just it's sad, tragic, but absolutely brilliant.
Agreed, man, and that's what filmmaking is all about, telling a story, telling stories that are very important, especially in today's society. We have so many of them happening right now, so this is why we need to pay attention. It's entertainment, but it's also informative, and it also tells a message that we all need to open our eyes a little bit.
And there was
more.
there was some comedy in there too. Yeah. It is really deep and dark, but one of my favorite things is there's a costume party and Denzel shows up in a suit, and Tom Hanks' character is like, "What the fuck? It's a costume party. What are you doing?" So he sticks some paper on himself. He says, "There, I'm a lawsuit." Like, I mean, it was good.
Yeah.
There's they needed some brevity, some lightheartedness in it. So, I don't know, just great movie.
Makes sense, man. Makes sense. Everybody has a top 5 favorite Tom Hanks movie.
Somebody include Apollo 13.
Right? Somebody include Apollo 13. The Terminal. Terminal's also great.
Oh
I
my
enjoyed
gosh,
that
the
one.
Money Pit.
The Money
oh my
Pit.
god, with Shelley Long. Bachelor Party.
Splash.
Like all of his early shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like, oh
Turner
my god.
Turner
and Hooch.
Like,
Yeah.
so many good ones. Oh, man. But like I said, be sure to let us know your top 5 Tom Hanks movies or your favorite Tom Hanks movie, because everybody has one. There's no way you don't.
You have 100.
Exactly. Now heading over to the box office recap. Number 1 this week was Jungle Cruise with $34.2 million. Very interesting premise for a kids film, a family film. So I really enjoyed it. Be sure to get out to the theaters and watch this one because, I mean, The Rock did amazing. Emily Blunt, of course. And what's your guy? What's his face from Billions there? He was in it.
Yeah. Paul Giamatti.
Yeah. So check it out,
and
guys.
he's brilliant in everything.
Exactly.
Like,
check it out.
I'm just curious. I'm just really curious as if did Dwayne convince Emily to come to the dark side with superhero films?
Right.
She's adamant against it, but could he do it? Could he bring her? I'm just saying.
We'll see. Number 2 was The Green Knight. It came in with $6.8 million. Number 3 is Old with $6.8 million as well. So that one was really close. Number 4 was Black Widow with 6.4. And number 5 was Stillwater with 5.1. And new movies you got coming out this week that we've already seen one of them, and like I said, was my favorite DCEU film, The Suicide Squad. Man, oh man, James Gunn just completely made this film. Like, he just, like, fuck those other guys. Who cares what they made, like, 5 years ago? This is my shit. And he did that.
He did. He does what James Gunn does best. He takes characters that nobody's ever heard of and makes them interesting, right? Like Polka Dot Man.
Yeah.
Right? And he did that for Guardians of the Galaxy. He did that for the Suicide Squad. Who the fuck would ever think about Ratcatcher, Weasel, or Polka Dot Man? But they were all entertaining as hell.
Exactly.
Only James Gunn can do that.
Agreed, man. Agreed. And like I said, I mean, if you guys follow me on Twitter, Disney should be looking to see what James Gunn can do if you give him free reign. Like, I mean, just saying, very entertaining. A lot of people are loving it. And other new movies that are coming out. John and the Hole. I have no idea what that one is.
I do not either.
Free Guy, Ryan Reynolds. Don't Breathe 2, and Coda. So be sure to go out to the theaters because you can and watch some movies, man. It's very entertaining. Movies you can still go see: Space Jam: A New Legacy, Snake Eyes, Fast and Furious 9: The Fast Saga, Escape Room: Tournament of Champions, and Boss Baby: A Family Business.
I'm surprised Escape Room's still in the theaters.
I'm just saying. Now heading over to the IMDb Pro Top Trending segment. This one, I mean, I don't know why anybody's talking about this one because I've heard from multiple different people that it's not good. Don't waste your money. Don't go see it.
Yeah.
But, this is just my opinion, who I've talked to. So, make your own opinion, I guess, if you want. We're talking about Old. Old is the top trending film.
It might be top trending because everybody's talking trash about it.
Maybe. That's a good point. That's a good point. Top trending TV show is Masters of the Universe, Revelation. Oh, man. It's great. I love it. I mean, the animation is beautiful.
Yeah, and everybody concerned about the fact that it doesn't focus on He-Man. Shut the fuck up.
Right?
Kevin Smith has got plans. This guy's also a genius. He knows what he's doing. Just lay back, enjoy, relax.
Chill.
Wait.
Exactly.
It's Netflix and chill.
Literally.
God damn it.
You're not fucking chilling.
That's right.
Oh, man. And the top trending star is Kate Beckinsale, which makes sense.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I mean, I think she's also in there because she was saying that she wants to do like a Blade and Night, Underworld crossover kind of thing, which would be fucking epic.
Yeah.
I'm down for that.
Hell yeah. But guys, thank you so much for getting crazy with us on episode 169 of Inside the Crazy Ant Farm. We got to thank our guest one more time, Reed Miller, for coming on the show.
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely amazing. Be sure to check out Joe Bell and follow him on Instagram, Real Reed Miller.
Yes.
And you guys know you can follow the company on social media at Crazy Ant Media, and you can follow the podcast at ITCAFpodcast. And we're now on TikTok, so you can follow the podcast on TikTok. We've talked so much shit about it, but here we are. We're both individually on TikTok, and the podcast is, so check it out.
Yes.
You guys know you can follow us both personally on all social media platforms. Myself at JLoFantastic and
at Crazy Ant Guy 1970.
That's great. And you guys know you can subscribe to this podcast anywhere you listen to your podcasts. And we're talking Apple Podcasts, Anchor, Spotify, Google Play Music, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Stitcher, and so much more. Anywhere you're listening to this show right now, be sure to like and subscribe. And you can watch this on YouTube. The podcast is everywhere, guys.
Everywhere.
Crazy. Be sure to like the video on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell for all the latest and greatest notifications from Crazy Ant Media, guys. And I'm just saying, be sure to visit our website, www.crazyantmedia.com, where you can start rocking the latest and greatest Crazy Ant Media gear. We got new stuff coming soon, so stay tuned for that.
Yes.
And we got all the promotions, man. So be sure to be following us so you can know about the promotions, so you can get those savings.
Yes.
But this was a great show. Absolutely loved it. Reed was absolutely a gem. I mean, one of my favorite guests that we've had on the show. But, I mean, honestly, they all are. But there's so much good stuff to talk about. I think it was with Warner Brothers, where it was the African-American family where they reclude to a beach town or somewhere.
Yeah.
I think that's a really cool premise, so I'm very excited about that one. More diversity and more information, you know. I mean, we all need to educate ourselves on some things. Top 5, I mean, of course, Tom Hanks was amazing. And Bad Batch. Bad Batch, of course, is coming back, and I'm not surprised about that at all because everybody loves Star Wars.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, and I'm, of course, super stoked about all the comic book stuff, knowing that Agent Carter or Captain Carter in the What If series. That's exciting to know that she's going to be throughout the entire run of the series. That's epically cool. Like you, Disney doing all the moves with diversity and you know, people of color and putting them in important spots. Now, if you could just get that whole woman thing under control with Scarlet, right? Like, let's not bash women or belittle women because they have power. Come on, Disney.
Up. Yeah,
get that shit
pretty
straight.
Fucked up.
Dope Sick. I am beyond excited for that. That was one of my favorite things, talking about that. I can't wait to talk to Danny about that. That's going to be epic. And yeah, I mean, there's so much great stuff going on, and it's hard not to have fun with Tom Hanks.
Exactly.
Right? So that was fun too.
Hell yeah, man. So good, so freaking good. Not a lot of superhero news though. I mean, like a handful of stories.
Yeah, but you know, a lot of some Batman news. Blue Beetle. I'm super excited about Blue Beetle. And, you know,
a lot of good stuff though. A lot of good stuff. And of course, you guys know we love the one, the only Oprah.